public service announcement for all the faint-hearted. You might want to dip before the jerks get started. If you like frank conversation, then pull up a seat. If you like the unexpected, then you're in for a treat. But you're not a captive, there's no ransom to pay. You can just hit the X if you don't want to play. Don't like what we do, then you can hit the X. Don't like what we say, you can hit the X. Don't want to join the crew, you can hit the X. You don't have to stay, you can hit the X. This is not a hostage situation, you can hit the X. This is not a hostage situation, you can hit the X. This is not a hostage situation. Situation. This is not a hostage situation.
You're embarrassing yourself. Go to bed. Hey, everybody. Welcome back.
Happy Monday.
Hot Monday at that.
It is a hot
Hey,
Monday.
everyone.
So we're going to hear Eliza's fan today, for sure.
Hey, I'm Mac talking smack. Girl. Let me get this off my chest since I see AMAC in here. Are you having trouble with the TLC, not TLC to go, but Discovery not putting the tell all up? Just let me know. I'm about to cancel my subscription. I just need to get that rant out of the way. I meant to do that earlier. I know AMAC knows what I'm talking about. You are, Grandma? Okay. Hey, Michelle. Hey, Queen Bella. Yeah, Max, too. Yeah.
Yes, Remy. This is the collective, the jerks and friends.
Yeah, we're the collective.
The collective, yeah. Yo, B, good God. And B Tim getting his Oxford definition. Pearl should be joining us soon. Y'all know how Pearl likes to do.
I love that B. Tim grabbed a dictionary and proved Pearl right. She was an English major, sir.
A major. Like, I don't get it. I don't get his animosity towards us at all, especially towards Pearl. There's TJ.
He's whipped.
Yeah.
Listen to you, Bugsy.
Hey, I'm back.
Do what?
Did you say he's whipped? Is that what you said?
He's whipped. I need the whip app so I can make that sound because he's whipped. You hear me, PD? Whatever your name is, B Tim, you're whipped.
Remy, I majored in English until I dropped out, but I do usually say collective, as in a whole group. Yes, it's pretty much, yeah.
And that makes sense, except she went live and spoke on her own. TPE did. None of us, we didn't collaborate with that. Nobody knew what she was going to talk about before we got there. Like, it wasn't a collective idea that was going on last night. But still, we get pulled into it. We're part of the day. It was a her, but it's the day.
We should change our channel today and
We
then.
should, because they are always on fire.
Swear. And don't get
We
us wrong.
can't do that. They jerks. You know that Pearl will not have that.
They jerks. That will.
Grammatically correct.
Oh,
Make
God.
it.
Yeah, that'll never work. Although, don't get me wrong. I do not disagree with everything TPE said. I don't. I see both sides of the coin. And I think some people miss some of the point there. But I know that TPE will speak on this at some point.
You know she will. She's not one to just drop a bomb and walk away, but she's a thinker. We talked about this earlier, Soup. You brought that up. You know, she says thinks about things and then she'll come out with a premiere or something like that. I'm really hoping that she'll come up with us tonight.
Yeah, I think it was hard that she did that as a video without the immediate feedback, you know, as if she had done it live where she could have responded to what people were saying and their points of view and that sort of thing. So I think that's the biggest problem, is that it was a video and not, you know, she's just in the chat rather than being able to speak live on it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, it was mystery. It was interesting. And like Gemini said, it did set off a bit of a firestorm. I think a conversation would be great. And I think she would definitely have the conversation now that she sees the response that the sector is having. Thank you, Kraken.
Yeah, I love TPE, and she is a friend of ours, and I think that her heart is always in the right place. You know, I think that she genuinely just wants the exploitation and stuff to stop.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So I do see some of her point, you know, like I said earlier on my live. I mean, I get both sides of the coin here. When you see, though, okay, with the, and it's not just the hashtags for me, it's the same title. Titles. Like you'll see 8 different channels, they're live about the same thing. Bullhorn Betty is the worst. Every day, 2 or 3 times a day, she has Sebastian Rogers in her title with the shocked emoji. I get so sick of seeing that. In that restraining order, or it's not a restraining order. What is it?
Is it protection order or an RO?
Protection order.
Okay.
Is she being asked not to even talk about Sebastian, or is that terms and conditions? Hey, I wonder if that's part of it. I don't think it is, because she was live today about it.
Hey,
we sent you the link. We are having an open panel tonight for people that want to join in on the conversation, how you feel about the hashtags. A very, calm conversation, not anything crazy. And where is Pearl?
I don't know.
I know.
Normally she slides in right as we're hitting the intro, so I'm a little perplexed.
She put a message in the back chat that she's pooping.
Oh,
I'm going to tell her. I'm going to tell her.
I would love to hear what people see as a solution with the hashtag situation too. Not just complaining about it, but what can be different? How can we make it different?
Yeah, that's a good point. Not just complaining about it, like other people, what's their own solutions to it too, like especially content creators.
Yeah, because they are trying to get their their channel out there and keep it in the algorithm, but some of the hashtags, and if you see, some of them are pretty what do you want to say, frequent offenders.
They're the same ones over and over. Copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste.
Yeah.
And I know New Jersey Robin has strong views on this, because I did see her comment. She said, people can cover cases that have been solved. I don't know. Something about that doesn't seem to generate the interest of people for some reason.
I mean, that has its following. There are creators that do that, and they have their following, but there's others that are interested in current cases and cases that have yet to be solved, so both are good, it just
yeah, definitely. Well, I'm sure they have their own sector, and
they do.
Yeah. Because I know New Jersey Robin follows all that stuff.
Yeah.
Me personally, I do like a conclusion. I don't even like that show on ID Disappeared, because it's not. I want to know what happened. I just want to know.
Right.
And let me make this statement too, y'all, because earlier today over at Granny's, I'm not blaming Granny. I'm just saying at Granny's, our name kept getting thrown into this. Y'all do know, I know our regulars know, we are not a true crime channel at all. So we don't touch. I don't know.
We talk about stuff that we watch in the Karama community happening. I mean, that's kind of where we met, but we don't cover cases.
No, not at all. Let's see. Robin says, Soup, yes. I never saw these creators cover Harmony case in court, but did go over her missing. Yeah, I kept up with that one.
Remy, I understand. Since Quentin Simon's case, I don't get involved in kids' cases. They bother me way too much. I get it. The Summers case is what did it to me. The Summer Wells case. I had enough and just can't do it anymore.
And then the Quentin Simon thing, I was shocked. I couldn't believe the firestorm on both sides. I was like, wow, I'm done. True crime or crama, whatever this is, no, I would never touch it. As far as like covering it, no, wouldn't do it. And I do see where some people are like, well, because some people do want their content creator to stick to the facts. Some people don't mind theorizing. So I can see how it's such a slippery slope for some people. Like,
but when you've slipped all the way into Fred said,
yeah, know, God, yeah, come on,
it's done.
It's done. The Fred said, you married a suspect in the case. Yeah. New Jersey Robin, it does me too, especially the children's. It really bothers Bugsy. Okay, let me read this. Let's face something and be honest about this right now. Many creators are following the algorithm of what's hot. They aren't creating content. See, I like that. They're feeding the algorithm to drive the numbers. I agree. A lot of them are doing that. I don't like the word content creator. I don't usually call people that unless they are a true content creator. Most of them are just YouTubers or channel holders. I see people like Mr. Ballin and other people like that as content creators.
Georgette says some of these creators cover the same thing over and over and nothing changes. I agree with that. I totally agree with that. It's just the same stuff and no new information. It's the gossip.
Thank you, TT, for the $5 super chat. What bothers me the most is that they post found and it's not true. I've seen that in them thumbnails.
Yeah, that's gross.
Justin for all. I call you out. You're the worst for them thumbnails. The shocked face with the cartoon looking characters of the parents and the child. I don't like it.
Justin with his mouth hanging open.
Yeah, with the shocked. Oh my God, I'm just shocked. It is pure. I feel like it's almost insulting your subscribers' intelligence. There's no way that I'm going to click on this and believe I'm going to get some real facts, some real hard, solid information. Yes, Earth, clickbait. Right. But I went live earlier today to address a few things. I'm just going to talk about it. TP's video did spark a discussion. She did get into, some topics, and some people have different feelings about it. I've said this too many times. I can see both sides. Although I do feel like a little portion is being missed here. It's not just about the hashtags. We do understand how that drives traffic, even though me personally, I don't know about y'all, but I don't hit on hashtags. I just don't. not on YouTube. Yeah, we can do that.
Hi, Anne Marie.
I think she was definitely well intended. Hold on a second. Somebody's down here. It's the Wii.
The Wii.
Tis I, Louis, no pee. Hello, everybody. Hey.
Hey.
Hey, Wii.
Hey,
Hey,
we.
we.
Hey, everybody.
Yes.
Pimpin' we.
Hey, we missed you.
Everybody calling you Wee's a pimp. I keep seeing that.
She's Tanka's. I started it. She's Tanka's pimp.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Because I hold the vault of nuts.
Yeah.
That is my role. Not everybody is up to this task. It's only a select few, and I am it.
Yeah, the $17 nuds.
That's right. Get it.
Yes. And cracking what you said. This is a loony Lenny free zone. Okay? I'm sick of you, Lenny. I done told you that earlier. You don't. No. Not even
Yeah,
with the
don't bring your little bestie in here either, Lenny. Because I got some words for her.
Well, in that one account, feeling froggy, that's you, Lenny. You don't troll well. It's the ... dots.
It's so many things he gives her away.
Every time.
Every damn time. It just annoyed me earlier trying to drag us into it. You know, like we didn't make that video.
We also aren't tragedy pimps. We don't hashtag missing kids in our lives.
Mm-mm.
So why was that even a part of that conversation? I didn't understand why they tried to drag us into that. It had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, we weren't in that conversation because we don't do that.
Right. Let TPE do her thing, you know?
And you're taking away from her by putting it on.
Right.
Yeah, more often than not, when I set the lives up, I'm tagging 3 things: the jerks, review, and tragedy pimp.
And if
That's it. Check 'em.
and if we're talking about a particular creator, we'll probably tag them too. We're not tagging kids.
No.
Because we're not discussing cases. We just discuss the creators that are.
Well, here's the whole thing with the tags for me is when I first came to YouTube, I came because I had saw Summer Wells was missing on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And somewhere, you know, I became aware that it was being discussed on YouTube. So I go to YouTube and I search for Summer Wells missing, you know, hoping to get kind of information. Has she been found? What? And that's how I found Molly's channel. And that's how I found Ziggy's channel. Right? And in the beginning, they were talking a lot about that. But now if somebody were to do that today and come, you know, hear about this little girl that's missing out of Tennessee and come to YouTube for more information and search it, what is going to come up? I mean, stuff that is so... Fred said. Oh, and Fred said.
Laura and Fred.
Right. Just like and some disgusting stuff. And the same is true with Sebastian. If you were to search him, you're going to come across like horrible things that people are saying about his parents.
Mm-hmm.
What in the world? That's my issue with the hashtags. Like if you're hashtagging, you know, and it's actually about the case, talking about how she went missing or how they went missing, the details of the actual case, and not getting off into the family stuff, I don't have a problem being hashtagged. It's when the other stuff is hashtagged and that's what people end up finding.
Jody Sue.
Right?
Mm. Yeah. I think there's a whole discussion to be had, and that's where TPE does deserve her flowers at the moment, because this is the tip of a huge discussion that does need to happen, that should be happening on the regular, that is almost separate from creators as such, that it's more community wide.
I agree.
We're not going to agree on it all. Not all of us are going to agree on it all. Look at everybody that's even in this chat at the moment. We're all here because of the jerks, but whenever you start discussing other creators, we're all going to have other opinions.
Yep.
And I think we're witnessing that, but on a bigger scale, and trying to ask people to come to consensus is a bridge too far, I personally believe.
I agree.
Look, we're literally stuck on a platform where a lot of these true crime creators are doxing people and harassing people and have their own criminal histories or whatever. And we're not all judged on a similar level, you know? It's like, well, where do you start? We're not, this isn't quite the level playing field. You are who you are. The only person you should be competing with is yourself.
That's really well said. Oh, hold on just a minute, y'all. Got a message from Pearl.
Oh,
It's an email. It said, "Help me,
Help me.
help." Okay. No power or internet. You know what's going on over there.
yeah. We're having a few problems over here in the UK, in general, UK, Northern Ireland. There's a lot going on over here, a lot of civil unrest. There are literal rioters in the street. So there will be power outages, internet outages, because our anti-terrorism laws are different. They can literally turn you off.
A good friend of ours was out in the streets yesterday.
Right. Today was light work in comparison. Boom.
Yeah, but when it comes back on, she'll be on panel. And Bugsy, she tried to text you. Check your phone, Bugsy. But yeah, we'll have Pearl back hopefully very soon. But I like what you said, about the whole, like, the discussion, the topic. Something I wanted to say about that. It seems like we have a hard time having these discussions without it being an all-out war.
Right?
Whose side? Yeah.
I think
People got
really
mad
good thing
instead
that
of
TPE went live last night, or not live, but did the premiere last night, because look at everybody's talking about this today, and so maybe we can start to actually do something about it.
right. That's what I'm thinking. Is instead of people being mad, talk about it. Let that be the start to a conversation. Not be so angry about. It just seemed like I didn't listen to it last night, so I listened to it today, and I was like, "What is everybody so mad about?" Seriously, I didn't think it was something to get so upset over.
Yeah,
I think it was a good conversation start.
It was. I can kind of understand a little bit of uncomfortability with the nonsense in a duchy. But I don't think she meant that the way that sounded either. I really don't. Hey, Vicky. But I would like for people to have more conversation about it and not doing this, the they and the them and the, damn it, the jerks were in bed, weren't we?
We were. I got to watch the very beginning of that, and even in the beginning of it, TPE said there are people that she was going to show that she genuinely liked for everybody to be kind. So I don't think she was out there just stabbing everybody, but she,
That was the impression that I got from it. But then I was kind of really surprised as I listened around what other people were saying. It's just like, I don't understand. I still am confused why they're so mad. Like, if you don't agree with her, you don't agree with her. That's okay.
I feel like Nonsense had a really good response.
Yeah,
She was
very good response.
Mhm.
Yeah.
She
She was
was
very even keeled and took it on board, and you could tell like she was surprised, but wasn't reacting in anger. It was curiosity of
How can we be better?
explain. Yeah,
Right.
explain
Yeah.
how we got here so I know what it is you're expecting, and then I'll see if I can meet those requirements. That seems logical to me rather than just you're a pile of poop, off you go.
Right.
That's surely what we do want, right?
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. I agree with that too, Mystery. I do. Because TP don't like she don't even like people being upset with her like that, so she would never try to hurt feelings. I don't see her doing that. I'm new to nonsense, but I think she was an adult. But yes, Georgette, she was very even about it. It was measured. Her response was measured. I liked it. Uh, she's kind of rare, if you even want to call it constructive criticism, but she took that well. Although I don't see her at all as a tragedy pimp in the least. I see her as somebody who likes to correct misinformation, and I don't see her letting people run wild with, you know, conspiracies in her chat at all. I don't see her that way at all. I see her as a very smart woman. I'm new to her though. I've only been watching her about a month, but so far I'm impressed.
No, she has cut her teeth, had her metal checked over a long time, and the opinions that she expresses currently come from having weathered a few storms. She knows what is ahead of her. And she is one of the few people who I would say would truly stand on her own 2 feet.
I agree. Yep. That's one right there who understands the assignment. No alliances, no restrictions. Now she's got people she likes. But she also, like I said, she understands the assignment. You start getting buddy with too many people, and that takes your channel another way.
I think we should just blame Deets.
Yeah. Deets, where you at? Yeah, blame Deets.
Well, dates did come from Ziggy, so there's that.
Yeah.
We all
Part,
came from
part of the
Ziggy,
collective.
apparently at the same time. That's what I heard today.
You all left on the one bus. Everybody out.
Bus
was
out
a
of town,
U-Haul.
Ziggy. We grabbed a U-Haul. Got the fuck out.
I hate that. I hate when people say that though. Like, this YouTuber did not birth me. I was here before Ziggy. I'm like Eliza. I came here looking for information. I was already on YouTube. I already had a channel doing my own stuff.
I was watching painting videos.
That sounds like something.
Or painting lives. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was here for 10 years before Ziggy. Just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, you and y'all been around a long time.
Right. We've lived a life
Yeah.
on the YouTube streets.
When all the nuds were happening.
Right, back in the
All
day.
the ones.
When I need a history lesson, I go to Tanga. Even Kraken's got some history.
They do call me the file cabinet.
Well, don't tell God Almighty,
Oh,
the file
God.
cabinet. Now we are holding files on people, according to one nut.
Somebody
Nobody calls me the file cabinet. Lord.
I was here way back watching in the crime
Yep.
crime sector a long time ago. Way
Yeah,
back.
you've been here. Yep. Yeah, because you're the one who helped me figure out Discord. I didn't even know Discord. TJ was gaming in Discord.
Yeah, back in 2007.
Yep, Gran, been around the block, you say? I've been here for a while, but this sector, I still feel like I'm new to it. I've only been here since, 3 years, this one.
There's Deets. It's all her fault.
There we go.
Ta-da!
We got the blame this time, Deets. I don't know if you did. There was so many lives going today, and I wasn't able to catch everything. But
She's probably in there. I bet you she got blamed too.
oh, I'm
Part of
gonna
the collective.
God, I hit mute. Deets, you don't have to, but we are having an open panel. If you want to come up, I'm gonna send you the link.
Well, anybody's welcome to come up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm about to drop it in the chat now.
Yeah, go ahead. Then we need to pin it. There's my Tiny.
Tiny, I had to mute when you said that the images, or your comment previous to the one that's in the current chat. I was like, oh my goodness, the images. If Ziggy had birthed us all, we must have come out like a slip and slide.
Shit.
Whee!
Whee!
Ew.
Deeds, let me clean up and I'll pop up there. Okay, hon. Anybody's welcome, but we're staying on topic of this subject only.
Clean up. She's going to get her catfish picture.
She's going to get her Mr. Pig.
Right?
I got my Dr. Pepper. We may fight up here today.
I think we need now a thing, because earlier today on Rabbit's stream, she was talking about iced coffee. I think we need a drink check from now on. Like, what do you all drinking?
Mm-hmm.
Just
Lucas
to
said for time or for we, right?
oh God. Not for me. We have to get it smuggled across the border. No, we really don't. You can literally.
Oh, Granny, I
get in
didn't
the
say
corner
that you
store.
did personally blame Deets or us. I was just talking the general
No,
community.
no, Granny.
Today seems to be, the collective.
No, that started before you even went live.
Yeah, that idea of the collective is odd, because I don't know how the rest of your friendships work, but some people seem to be under the strange conclusion that people come to you and ask for permission or some sort of authority to go ahead and do whatever they're talking about. That's not how that works for me anyway. I've never known anybody who's ever come to me and asked my permission, or so if that's worked out differently for other people, maybe let me know. That would be nice.
Look at Tiny. Look, somebody do something with Tiny. Look, it's just
Deets is so responsible. She would have cut the little snips into the plastic wrap that holds the 6-pack together to make sure it was ecologically friendly. She would have
I do that.
correct.
Don't you do that?
I do.
Yeah, Granny. We no, the collective was getting blamed before you went live. I was in bed. Okay. It's just wild how that works out. Yeah. But don't hit him with any logic or anything. Tiny is on a roll. She's always on a roll. You go watch her.
Even Granny, I like Granny's streams, but I can't be there all the time. No, nobody really can. You try your best to pop in and show support where you can, but we're all going to miss sometimes. Like, I miss a jerk. Sometimes there's everybody I miss sometime, because
Yeah,
you
and I
will
get really
try to catch
offended
it live, but you
Well,
can't always.
Jerk live.
I'm not always awake when Granny's live because I live on the West Coast and she
Oh
goes
yeah.
live really early for me. So sometimes I catch her after she's already been on a while.
Now, I'm more of a morning person live. So I do appreciate those. There is a place for those. Because, look, y'all that go live at 10.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Those that go at live at 11, 10 o'clock, I'm in bed.
Right.
I'll get on the replay.
Well, and obviously there's a audience for Granny that early because she always has a ton of people in there. So there's
800-900.
a bunch of people awake.
Mm-hmm. The East Coast is on her. Yeah, they're us over on the East Coast are usually in that time zone or watching her. There's Deets on the motherfucking streets.
Junkin said she'll
Hey,
be on short.
Deets.
Now she's on the motherfucking jerks.
Hello.
Uh-huh.
I have new earbuds. Does this sound okay?
Yeah, you sound good.
Oh, good. My freaking Apple AirPod Pros, like the newest generation, they always crackle on StreamYard. So
Uh-huh.
I'm like,
Wee
come
has
on.
explained that to me. It's because it's Google owned.
Is that what it is? That
Yep.
makes sense, Wee.
Google no likey Apple. It's a whole
Oh.
thing, and it has been talked like it's a whole thing. So for any
Well,
streamer, I recommend go Android and Windows all the way. It seems
got-
to cut out a lot of problems.
I
It
got
does.
Beats. Well, they don't cause me troubles when I'm streaming because I use a microphone. So my earbuds are only for listening when I'm streaming through my laptop. But like when I hop on panels through my phone, that's when it becomes a big issue.
Yep. Gemini Slacker, the eternal Google versus Apple beef. Yep.
I've now become a collective. See, okay, I don't know what's been going on today. I've caught a little bit, like Joneson's told me a little bit. I listened to Nadia's stream. I didn't even watch all of TPE's. I feel bad, TPE. I fell asleep listening to it, but I think I only got like 20 minutes in and I was out. So I don't know all the things today, but I hear a lot of people are in some uproars though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they are. TP, she had she does premieres, she don't do lives.
Right.
And her live was actually on a good topic. I understand the discussion. It was on not just hashtags, but hashtag was a part of it, and hashtagging the missing children or the parents. You know what I'm talking about, those same hashtags that you'll see a lot. And she went over different channel holders that cover some of the true crime cases and was asking people's, what their thoughts on it was and giving her thoughts on it and how she felt about it. I don't think she meant any harm, but it definitely struck a chord with some people. And some people took it in stride. They really did. They took it well, and
Hashtag gate.
yeah, hashtag gate. Like I was saying earlier, nonsense. She had a good discussion on it, and yeah. Here we are, and somehow the jerks got blamed.
Okay, so I haven't nonsense talked about it today because I heard her and Mal talking. That's what I listened to her today, and they were so maybe she talked about it earlier, but
I think nonsense went live last night, didn't she?
I'll have to go back and watch that one.
Yeah, go back and watch that one. That one's sort of good because I think Nonsense's reaction was probably more similar to my own. Like, right, okay, but why do you think that? Why is that? Why are you applying that to these people at this time? What is your reasoning? I think she was looking for slightly more information. That we're demons for all of the information. So,
Right. What do you hope to change?
Right. What
get
is the outcome? What is it you're wanting to be different, and how do we get there?
So, what is the crux of the stream? Just that people are hashtagging wrong improperly.
I think that was some of it, but I feel like she was also saying, because she also went over the Ryan finds truth guy. Is some of the misleading titles that you'll see. Like she went over people like him.
Hashtags and clickbait.
Clickbait, yeah.
And honestly, It's really disrespectful. That's how I see it.
Well,
it is disrespectful, some of it that's going on. I can't see it any other way when you see titles that are completely misleading, and they involve a missing child.
but I think that's where we also need to be real careful, because even that statement that it's misleading, you mean the clickbait titles rather than the hashtags per se?
Yeah,
I was talking about the clickbait titles being
yeah,
misleading.
the titles, not the hashtags. The titles are the ones that really get me, and I've mentioned, I'll say a name. Justice for All is one of them, with the shocked face and the little cartoon avatars of the family and the child. Those annoy me.
Dolly with his breaking news.
Breaking
Breaking
news.
news every day, breaking news.
Yep. So that was kind of the crux of it. And hashtags were a thing too. Do you use hashtags? And then the people want to know, well, what's wrong with the hashtags? And here's why we use hashtags. And
I think
it's
there was also a lot of, well, what about them going on too? They're worse than me, right? There was a lot of that I thought today.
What
That's
about
kind of
ism?
where I think we got drug into it today. That's what Johnson was telling me about, was us getting drug into it. Was the, what about them? They did a drama stream, blah, blah, blah. I was like, wasn't a drama stream, but okay. So that happens. That always happens when people discuss an issue in this community. Instead of like, you're saying that Nonsense kind of addressed it head on. That's good, but most people don't do that. They just, oh, well, what about this over here? What about that over there?
Mhm.
So
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, Nonsense really handled it. Addressed it, like, and not did the whataboutisms. Yeah. Granny went live today and talked about it. She seemed to have an open mind about seeing both sides as well. And somewhere sorry, Granny, this ain't towards you, but the B comes up and BTM, and then it becomes a thing about the jerks. People were in the chat trying to make it about the jerks, but
How is it about you guys?
that's what I wanted to know. I don't know how this was about us at all.
Because in some people's opinion, they believe that the jerks, TPE, and Six Up are a collective.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just, let me be real clear here, it's not just Queen Bee that is of that opinion. She's the one that said it, but there are other people that believe that too. But if you honestly think that either TPE or Six Up or anybody is coming for approval of their content, you have missed a whole lot about those ladies. They're
Yeah.
independent of their own right. They can do and say whatever they want.
Mm-hmm.
Guilty by
The collective.
association. Yeah.
What's the collective about? I keep hearing you guys say that.
Somehow, some
I
way.
see
Now,
Grandma Sherry tagging it. Like, what's going on?
I might pull up Granny's watching stream if she don't mind and go to that part, because I didn't watch it all the way. But she calls.
Okay.
What? Oh. I was like, what was that?
Sorry, that was me.
Yeah, not Granny, but QB, the B called us the collective. I just feel like she was really wanting to argue with Pearl, and it became a thing. Well, you came from Ziggy's, you were a mod at Ziggy's. I don't know how any of that really aligned with.
I was on at other channels, but they don't ever say I came from those channels. So
I don't think
that logic
TPE
doesn't
was
work.
a mod at Ziggy's, was she?
No,
I
don't think
so.
she ever. Yeah, I don't think she ever.
Yeah, not that I can remember. And I was there way back when.
That's a weird jump right there. Oh,
That's
what was
what I
another
thought.
one Joneson told me? She said in the chat earlier she was under her kid's name that she's gonna hop up. Someone, what was it she said? I wish I could remember now. The timing of it all?
The timing, that's
Someone was carrying on about the timing of it all. I'm like,
There were
what's
multiple
going on? What's going on
multiple
if there's
people.
a timing situation? That I didn't understand that.
Well, truthfully, I have thought about this part a lot because it bothered me a bit as well. I was like, I have this terrible habit of wanting to find out what this other person means, even when I don't agree with it. I'm like, what is it you're trying to say to me here, or
Yeah.
the world? What is it you're, so I can understand? I may not agree with it, but let's communicate. As far as I could gather, it seemed to be that certain people were implying that TPE was only mentioning this at this moment in order to take the critical eye away from certain creators and to throw some shade at other creators. Meanwhile, her friendship group must have known all about it. Therefore, conspiracy unlocked.
Yeah.
Well, Granny says people were asking where TP originated or something. I don't know where. I don't know where she originated, where she was birthed. That's the
Right.
saying
What you-
around here.
Probably
I
from
don't
her
know.
mama, like the rest of us.
But what? I guess I'm just not understanding the timing. What's going on in the community that is an issue? That's what I'm confused about. Like, I didn't know that there was something going on that makes the timing suspicious.
Because they believe that the critical opinions that certain creators are receiving, creators that
Well, yeah, I understand that part, but sorry, go ahead.
well, creators that TPE would support as such, or has been in their chats or that kind of thing, because that's going on right now, that this was specifically a diversion. That's where the timing thing is.
I understand, but a diversion from what?
From, so that we're not talking about those people, we're talking about the other people. Because obviously the group that is being criticized at the moment, in their opinion, is not being criticized fairly. They're getting too close to getting an answer for the case. Hence, conspiracy level 9 million unlocked. Conspiracies all the way down.
Weapons.
Well, that's what was happening yesterday, Granny, so I don't know. That's what I was saying. I went and read it twice.
Hi, Johnson.
You lost me. I love you, girl. You lost me, so I'm just gonna listen.
Welcome, Johnson. TPE is here.
And
Good to see
TPE
you.
is
Oh my
in
God.
chat.
TP girl.
You did the thing, girl.
TPE,
I mean,
I already told them we all left in the U-Haul together.
listen.
Right, it was that one U-Haul.
Yes, we did it
Everybody
as
got
a
on.
collective.
I've been, in the background scheming and getting TPE to put out this video against
Real quick,
Queen. That's what I've been doing.
before you go, Johnson, I just want to touch on what TPE said. We all left Z's at different times. I left way early. I didn't even talk to any of these girls when I was there, except for a couple of you. So this isn't like some mass exodus from Ziggy's and we all knew each other from Ziggy's. The jerks knew each other and were tight. But like TPE said, like she left at a different time. Like I didn't know TPE at all when she was at Ziggy's. I didn't know.
I didn't know her either.
Yeah, 3/4 of the panel up here during, like, I knew who they were, but I didn't talk to them, is what I'm saying.
But how does that have anything to do with TPE's video?
I don't know.
It
What
does.
the hell does the mass
timing,
exodus have
I
to do
guess.
with anything?
Because it's reductionism. That's the way to take away someone's argument. Well, after all, you came from Ziggy's. You've all got a bone to pick. I did that very deliberately. You've all got a bone to pick. So let's just knock the feet from underneath you before you even get talking. And that's how I
Well
saw it.
said. Yep. That's exactly the way I look at it too. Yeah. Trying to discredit you before you even get to talking.
It's just, I don't know. It's crazy. I did hear, though, that I watched your live on replay earlier, Soup, and I heard that you and the other jerks were being blamed for TP's video. And then I heard me, Nunya, and Deets were being blamed for TP's video. How about, how Now, how does that make any sense?
Well, it doesn't. TPE, like I said in my live earlier, she's been creating content way before I ever knew her. And yeah, this was her work.
TPE is a grown ass adult. And I'm pretty sure she doesn't need any of our permission or encouragement to do videos.
I'm cool with TPE. I understand the way I've seen it is okay, the hashtags and the reviewing of parents' interviews and attacking, the victim's parents. Like, those are personal problems of TPE. Like, that is her opinion. She is welcome to that. The only thing I even told TPE this, I said, girl, I would have been pissed if you would have lumped me in there with Betty and Dolly, period.
Yeah, that part understood. I do feel.
Hey, Granny, welcome.
Hey, Granny.
Hi. Is my sound loud or anything?
No,
I'm on
you
a
sound
different
good.
device.
You're
Okay.
actually coming
Sounds
through.
fine.
No feedback?
Nope.
Okay. Thank you. Finish what you were saying. I didn't hear people being particularly blamed. I did hear like the whole collective thing. But I thought that's because there were people in the chat asking, like, well, where did TP come from? I didn't know that was being blamed, like, oh, this connection led to this taking place.
There were actually comments that were being, not in yours, but it's not nonsense fault, but in nonsense chat last night when she went live, that they were trying to, like, allude that because TPE is friends with us, Six Up, some other people, that this was some type of like trying to get back at him or something, which doesn't make any sense because I don't have anything against the people that was in TP's video. Well, now some of Prayer Garden, fuck her. Ziggy's same, but there's a lot of them I like. So, but yeah, there were people alluding to that didn't actually happen on your panel, Granny.
Okay, because I missed it. I actually tuned into nonsense in time to hear myself being blamed. Like, I was blamed, and I'm like,
oh, you were blamed too?
Yeah, I was blamed too. The scarlet letter and everything that I wear brings, I put crosses on everybody's back apparently. So that was part of my problem today. Was like, wait a minute. To be honest, TPE's criticism was 100% fair. And at one point I started laughing because I'm like, everybody calls everybody else out. And now that we're being called out, everybody's insulted. I mean, it's quite ironic if you think about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we all participate in drawing this line. We've all crossed the line. And now we're mad that other people are pointing out that we crossed the line. Like, it's quite rich in my opinion. Like,
well, that's kind of what, just from what I've heard, from what Johnson was saying and Soup earlier, it sounds like TPE's video was more focused on the hypocrisy of it all. Like, you're calling creators out for hashtags, and now you're using hashtags, and so maybe that was I don't know. I should shut up until I watch it all.
That might have been it. I mean, I purposely stopped. I didn't watch the whole video either. But I also stopped calling other people out on the way they cover their content because I know I don't do it perfectly. I've had debates with myself. Is it okay to tag Sebastian in this? And if I came to my conclusion, it was. I understand others may not, right? So then I'm like, well, it's hypocritical of me to point out others and what they decide is important as well, because we all have a different threshold. But there is some irony in calling out people's content and having the same hashtags, but then you can use the argument. How do you reach their audience without the same hashtags? So it is a big circle. But I think for what I was feeling, and I felt like others were feeling when it came to me with it, is that there's been this, like Savage Queen fell out. TP is a mod for Savage. She's friends with Chronicles. Chronicles can't stand me. Chronicles can't stand Queen. So like people are wondering if that timing had to do with anything. Like, is there like a mass movement right now that has taken place where there's been like a divide?
Not that involves me. I swear to God, like
or me.
I've been over here trying to love everybody.
Well, I ain't trying to love everybody.
No.
Just by way
I do. Y'all know
That's
I wear my heart on my sleeve.
She's just over here
Unfortunately.
raising chickens and minding her business.
Well,
I mean, I'm
preparing
not a
the
part of none
chickens
of
to
that.
take over is what's happening, and everybody's. but but no, it wasn't. Some people I think are looking at it like that, but it's not. The Good Nunya, every discussion channel that calls out is opening themselves to potentially called out as well. I don't know why that's so hard to understand.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, I'm pretty good about rolling with the punches when it's our turn to get it, just because, I mean, we dish it out. So
yeah, well, we've got it.
That's what I told Nunya earlier when Jones was informing us about how we were getting blamed on things. Was I put like my channel, your guys' channel, even a little bit when you do open panels, Granny, B, all of them in like a discussion channel category. And so for me, that's why I try not to hashtag things, because you never know what's going to happen when you have an open panel.
That's true.
You never know where the conversation's going to go or where it's going to flow to.
Yeah.
And you might have the intention of coming up live and talking about JLR and what he's doing to a family and end up talking about upside down pineapples. You just never know. Like, live streams take on a life of their own.
They do.
And it gets crazy. And that's why I just never really addressed hashtags when quote unquote tragedy pimps use them, because I don't think about them too often, honestly. I do know there was one time when Jones and I was on a stream with her, because I know somebody's going to find this and be like, oh, yes, you have. But,
oh, yes, you have.
When Jones was streaming and pointed out that someone was using the cash cow hashtag, and I said that was gross. And I just think it's gross to call a missing child a cash cow. And that's my opinion, and it's not an attack. I just think it's gross. But that has nothing to do with the hashtag itself per se. It's just the fact that you're willing to put that on a missing kid.
Yeah,
but
otherwise I don't give a fuck about hashtags.
I don't care. But with discussion channels, you never know where they're going to go. It's an ebb and flow. And, but I don't know of any collective conspiracy in the background.
Well, can I address that from my perspective?
Yeah.
That would be okay. I think the reason people being friends make them part of the thought process is because it's very apparent and obviously clear that there are sectors that have their discords, right? And so you get you're in private, you're conversing. It's it does end up being similar, like-minded people is who we associate with, right? Like my people are, you know what I mean? So it's like, then you go into private and you're like, hey, did you see this? You're like, yeah, well, what do you think? I don't know how, and you kind of feed off each other, right? So to act like there's not some type of similar thought process there, or you can't be pulled into somebody's similar thought process is not realistic, because you can.
Yeah,
right?
I agree with that. You
Oh yeah, you could be.
Yeah,
you could be. I'm not in a Discord with TPE, and I don't know you guys might be, but I don't think Johnson is.
I don't know if TPE is or not. I think she might be. If she is, she's never active in there.
I'm not either. I have been in the past, but not now.
It seems like TPE's video has, like, the focus of the video has been lost. The point of the video has been lost, and it is now being used to blame other people. Like, you can't blame people for TPE putting that video out. That's her opinions. We don't even share the same opinions on the hashtags and the going over reviewing parents' interviews, like what she mentioned with Dutchie. Like, I don't even agree with her on those things. And I went back to the messages today. I texted her on Discord and I said, bitch, I'm going to need you to put me in your next video, please. And thank you. Because this is too fucking much. And I looked at the times that me and TPE have talked. I haven't talked to her on Discord since January 7th. Like, there's nothing going on.
Right. Well, the same way you guys are saying you shouldn't be tied into people you're associated with utmost respect, TP, what was that jab at me with Jay then? Like, that
I didn't agree with that either.
Right. Like, just because she's been on my panel and, you know what I mean? It doesn't, like, I didn't understand where that was coming from either. So, you know, that's where I feel like some of it, there was a little personal undertone. Again, I didn't listen to the entirety. I kind of woke up to nonsense being like, oh, it's because of Granny. And I'm like, wait, why the fuck's it always me, bitch? You know what I mean? Like, hold up. Like, wait a minute. And I see that's how you're all feeling too. So obviously,
I
the
don't
shoes have
feel
been on
that
fire
way.
and I missed a lot.
Yeah, definitely. But I see where TP's coming from in her.
I do too.
I see both
Same.
sides. I really do. And
I
it's
do
not
too.
and it's not a whole thing of sides. It really isn't. And I think that gets lost a lot. I don't know. I guess it's just humans as a whole. We start to see things a certain way and it's a side thing. And this group over here feels this way. Well, I don't like that one on our panel. So I don't agree with her anymore. But going
Oh,
back.
that's my pet peeve. This whole who you sit with thing. That is a big pet peeve of mine, because just because I'm up here on this panel chit chatting doesn't mean I co-sign everything up here on this panel may have done, because I don't know where all you guys go and what you say and what you do, and it's a weird thing to throw out there and to put on people. It's very weird. I've only seen it happen online, specifically on YouTube, but it's very, very bizarre.
Yeah. And I think it's a good discussion to be had. Do you see that, Granny, what TPE said?
You guys have been buddies lately, Granny, and I've always thought she was a tragedy pimp, like a really bad one. Okay.
Don't think
But-
she's calling you one.
But she did. She did. Yeah. I mean, when you're like, you and Jay deserve each other, well, I deserve that. Like, with utmost respect, she pointed out things I did in the past that I myself took time to acknowledge, and I stopped and I changed. I realized I crossed the line. Like, I had the self-awareness, which is where I was like, all right, her criticism was fair. But when it came to that slight, it was kind of like, well, wait a minute. If I put you in with everybody you're associated with too, like, it just felt, that's where I was like, all right, maybe this is more personal. Because I went live this morning not even hearing that part. It was people in the chat that said it to me, and I'm like, wow, that may change my whole perspective on the stream now, to be honest. At first, I was on board, like, we all got called out, bitches. You know what I mean? Like, you've all towed over that line. We deserve it. Whether people want to recognize it or not, justify it or not, we've all done what we once called out. Yeah, we deserve to be highlighted for it. But then to not highlight those of us that acknowledged it, or to throw in the slight that I deserve, Jay, I don't know. I'm newer to Jay, and she's been very nice to me, and I appreciate her. There's not many creators that are nice to me, and I appreciate how nice Jay has been. She's not judging me for past things. She's, you know what I mean? I don't know.
That's where you're coming from there.
And I agree, Granny. Like, I feel like maybe the slight comes a little bit with the fact that y'all have acknowledged certain things that you did wrong, such as, like, I think you said something about the way you've talked about Seth. Nonsense has said something about the way she was going hard for Seth. And so to have that ignored and only have the flaws shown, I get that. I get that slight. But I don't know. It's
but
crazy.
See, that's what I'm saying, is that I'm going to use the word collective. I'm stealing it. Sorry. That collective I almost said hive mind, but it's just the same.
Oh God, don't do that. You'll get us in trouble.
She really did just say that. Oh Lord.
That from the bee, though.
Let's just say herd mentality.
Can we at least be Borg so that we have snazzy little outfits? Because we would look awesome in that.
Yeah. Because now people do that, though, like you said, though, Granny, because now you getting along with Jay, that means that you're co-signing anything and everything she's done, and that's not right to do. I want to judge a person or base a person or decide how I feel about a person based on their actions, not the people that they quote unquote sit with. And so I don't think that is fair to do, to put people into groups together, to herd people into groups based on things, because whether we like it or not, sometimes we have to come to conclusions on our own. Like, I do think Jay is a huge tragedy pimp, and I have thought that.
I do too.
Ever since the 5th stream of watching her Summer Wells content, and then learning all the things that I've learned about her that she did during the Watts case, and Kylie Rodney, then Summers, and now Sebastian's, and just running with the disinformation that she does. But I don't put that on you. I don't think that's fair to do, is to put that on someone put the right crime on the right person, put it on who it belongs to.
That would be
if
better.
If it belongs to her, then it belongs to her.
That would be better if we could do that. I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think there's a time of there is period of times where we, with utmost respect, you guys, the jerk, supported Ziggy for a while, right? Did you not see all the red flags? Deej
No.
Jones and Nanya, you guys supported Queen Bee, right? So it's like we can all say we've made mistakes of supporting people we shouldn't, and maybe I don't see what you guys see right now. Maybe I will, maybe I won't.
Yeah,
but to, like,
and that's entirely true. You might have a completely different experience than everyone else as well. I agree with that completely.
Yeah.
And that's why I've been told about all the things Jay's done, but y'all know me, I want to experience, I need to experience it myself. So I have been giving Jay that chance. And I think I would want somebody to give me a chance to show my character to him, So I don't think that's a huge deal.
Yeah, I agree.
I understand that. Yeah. I don't think, yeah. But
y'all can't be, not y'all, but some folks can't be attacking people for not being in the video. Listen, bitches, just because I'm sneakier than you with my fuck shit don't mean nothing. No, what really happens is I do some fuck shit, and I have done some shit that TPE could have definitely put in that video. I probably should have been in that video. But
she might have a part too.
Listen, I was relieved from my little segment. I'm like, oh, it was like 15 seconds. Chill out, guys. I deserved it. Then I heard the Jay thing, and I'm like, wait. I was relieved.
Yeah, for the most part, Grady, I gotta say, you were pretty gracious about it. You weren't.
She was, yeah.
There were some people that were losing their minds today.
They were. Well, and that fake confusion, and I'm going to call it fake confusion, pissed me off too. Because come on, you know what you've done. We all know what we've done. We're not stupid. And some of us have admitted there were times where we went live, or we're about to go live, and said, is this crossing the line? Will I be called out for this? Admittedly, thinking, will I be shamed for this? Because And to be fair, though, many of us participated in drawing that line. So again, it's kind of karma. It's like it's ironic that we're now upset that we're being called out for it. I had to start laughing because I'm like, man, people are really hyped defending themselves. But guess what? The people that we call tragedy pimps can also defend themselves. Right? Like there's an excuse for everything. Maybe they believed what they were doing was right. Maybe they believed it wasn't, whatever. So the fact of the matter is we all did cross the line. And, I even said it nonsense. It's the consistency of the streams. Like, yeah, sure, you can say you're on this side of it, but when it's every day, 6-7 hours a day, yeah, I mean, at that point, you're kind of you're borderline no different than what you're calling out, right? It's just a different approach. And do we get to hide from that different approach? I've been saying this for years. At what point is calling out tragedy pimping in with itself? And I did. I fell into the category. I got very personal with Seth. Wow. It felt personal. I've acknowledged it. I try to stay away from this.
That's rare. That is rare as hell, though, for somebody to say, "Yeah, I did it." Okay.
Oh, I mean, I felt it. I seen it. I was like, "Damn, you're becoming exactly what you called out. You need to chill out." And I tried to.
That's self-reflection.
It is, and that's why I stopped doing the deep dives I was doing on Sebastian, because we were, Jenny and I were going through the interviews, and it got to the point where I could feel I was not going to be able to remain neutral talking about the parent of a missing child, and I don't want to cross that line. So I was like, we're just not going to do them anymore, and it does suck, but it's not fair to do. I don't know all the struggles. I don't know what it feels like to have my child missing for, almost 200 days, but I don't know what I would do in that situation. I want to say I would never come online and say half the shit that man has, but I don't know. Maybe I just don't know. And I don't think it's fair to do.
I'm the same way, Deets. I would like to say that I wouldn't do some of the things that we've seen, but I don't know. Because our mindset might be absolutely.
That's my baby.
Yeah, so I could be insane.
I can't imagine.
I struggle with that too, but he's now a creator, and to be fair, he's like started.
Is he really?
Yeah.
That's where. Okay. It does get a little weird.
So like the line gets blurry there, because then it's like, well, is it justified because he is a creator? He is modding on all these channels. He is knee deep in all the drama. Does he get, can I have empathy towards him as a father missing a child and still think he's a completely shitty human? You know what I mean? Like, so it does become a battle with your own morals, to be honest. It's like,
it does. I don't think he's actually modding. I'm sure his wrenches are probably just courtesy wrenches. I doubt he's like doing real modding work. But yeah, I know it's a line. It's blurry, but it is a line, and I think everybody's gonna have different points on that line of where they're willing to go.
Yeah. And also, I mean, I see what you're saying, Anya. Yeah, sorry, the fact he started a channel doesn't change the status of him being a parent, right? But does him being a parent of a missing child make him, you know,
He's still
safeguard?
exploiting his son.
Right, and he's still causing a lot of drama. I mean, I've personally been doxxed by Seth Rogers. It's become personal. It became personal months back. Do I have to ignore that because he's missing a child? You know what I mean? Like, that's where it becomes, like I said, a moral.
No, I don't think
internal
I don't
battle.
think you have to ignore that.
Yeah,
I
no,
think there's
not
still
that.
just places that you probably shouldn't go.
That's
I'm
why I
not
just
saying you
said,
have. I don't
back
know if you
away.
have. I'm just saying, there's still
That's why
places,
it would
yeah.
be so hard for me to be a true crime YouTuber channel holder, because you all really, the people that dare cover it, have to walk this really fine line too.
That we
And
created, though.
yeah,
To be fair, we created it.
Yep.
That's what cracks me up a
That's
bit.
the thing. You're right, and I think so many people are overlooking that. Granny is, or at least it's sounding like people are overlooking the fact that we're the ones who, like, I'm sick of hearing this, like, they think they're the moral authority, or they think they're hall monitors, or they think they're, better than everyone else. Like, no, we all collectively worked together and created these standards for this community, and we have to reflect on that sometimes.
Sometimes we
Right.
do. Yeah, I agree.
Each creator has responsibility for creating the rules and the vibe within their own chat, and then equally we
sure.
as subscribers go to places that we enjoy. There's some places that I might watch content in and never speak
Yep.
because I don't particularly like that chat vibe, but I
the
want to
vibe.
hear the content. And that is different for everybody. We all have different boundaries of what is acceptable and what's not. When I heard somebody today go off on what seemed like the craziest diatribe on don't let people police you, you would have thought we'd entered the Third Reich. It was crazy. No, it just means that, we can discuss on how we do better. We probably will never get to the point. People want to believe we'll always get to the point where we can have some sort of agreement on standards for true crime. That has been tried many times before, and it always falls flat because people forget it takes agreement and it takes constant effort from people. There will always be some who will ditch that the second that they get a big break or what they believe is a break.
Yep.
Well,
And that's where it all goes sideways.
So, I mean, to act like we didn't all have a large increase in viewership due to Sebastian's case is being willfully ignorant, right? We all did.
Yep.
And then some of us found a way to keep that with believing that we're maintaining these boundaries that we really weren't. Some did it by the aspect of, oh, I'm going to call out those who aren't doing it. But at the same time, we are all doing what we're calling out others for doing, which is profiting off that child's disappearance, right? Like, it was a real wake up call because I'm like, shit, dude, like I did it. Like it's hard when you get a large number of viewers, and it does come down to a worry. Well, now is anybody going to show up? And if nobody shows up, am I going to be mocked for that? Like, it's a lot of pressure. I don't think people realize. So I won't say it's all to keep the views, but it is definitely being at this point, this many months in, there's no actual facts going on. The only reason anybody is continuously tagging or discussing him is because it brought a lot of channels back to life. And I'm not going to sit here and act like that's not a fact as a creator myself who saw an influence of people coming in the chat. That is absolutely why people keep finding a reason to continue to discuss it.
Yeah.
And I disagree with the cash cow tag as well. I said that today. I disagree with it. I understand the reason, the justification for it. I disagree with it. At the end of the day, he's, it's whatever. But I do think there are people that do take a more moral approach, though, and do act like, well, I'm better than you because I would never do what you do. I do feel like there is that type of attitude as well. which is like a stuck up snarkiness. Like, I do it because I care, and you do it because you want clicks and views. You know what I mean?
I've seen that.
Yeah.
When if people are being honest, you didn't start a channel for nobody to watch it. So
Right. And I do think I get what you're saying, that you saw a huge influx of viewership to your channel, and then you're now scared to change your content because what if that viewership's still not there? I think the more that you build your community and just go live with nothing, not nothing, but say you want to talk about Chris Watts today, I don't know why that's on my mind, and your viewership is half, then you know that's your community, and keep focusing on that. It gets less scary though. Like, the longer I'm away and then I come back like 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, whatever, it's less scary because it's like, you know what to expect. Like, I'm gonna be happy with the 200, 250 people are in here as opposed to, 6, because those are the people that are there for me.
that's true. That happened to me.
It's a lot less scary.
Yeah.
Scarier.
When I stopped covering carbonation, huge drop. Okay. Because that's what most of my people were there for. So when you see just 40 in there, it's like, damn it, really, y'all? But you get used to it, and then they start to come back. It'll be okay.
You have to give them time to get caught up to what you're into these days.
Yeah.
We'll sit back and listen for a bit.
TP, I think really did open the door, though, for a discussion here. These ladies are definitely mature about it. Definitely.
Yeah, I like these type of discussions. Yeah, Deets used to do the
I love them.
Oh, Deets, Deets loves this stuff. She loves the deep dive.
Like I said, the only thing I would change is like maybe make a separate video, because going back on what Granny said, she said she feels like people do feel like they're better than others because they're like, oh, I would never do what you did. Well, good for you. I fuck up. Sorry. But I think it hits differently when you see that you're put in the same video, the same genre, the same group, even though I don't think it was intentional on TP's part. But when you're put in that same group, it's like, so you're putting me with the ones that we all know does this for clicks and views, and you know that we've made our intentions known that we want to do it for awareness. So it does kind of like,
that's where I felt like somebody's intention should, in their content.
It matters. Yeah.
Right. And it should appear more than what hashtags appear, right? Like, I did a poll today and nearly 1,000 people, 81% don't even look at hashtags, right? Now, I understand there's an argument that hashtags get you an algorithm. Of course, that's the point. We want people to hear what we're saying. We want people to hear what was said on this panel they may not have seen. I wanted people to know who Nina Glass was, who Tony Mathis was, and who these people are that are going to come and pull on your heartstrings over this missing child. Now, it could be argued that added to the drama, but at the same time, excuse me, I didn't create that drama, right? His father did. So that's where my argument came in. Like, all right, yes, he is a missing father. And sure, I'm sure there are times I tagged where I shouldn't have. The other day I did. I Sebastian tagged and I said, you know what? I removed the tag. This discussion didn't go how I wanted it to.
Right.
Wasn't right. I mean, there's been times I changed my title, my thumbnail, because the discussion, went off course. But at the same time, like, we use those hashtags to reach the right people. So I think a lot of us were left when it came to TP. And my big question is, was it to open dialogue? Was it really a community discussion? Or was it for you to mark in the sand where you stand and see who stands with you? Are you willing to offer grace and have a discussion and, try to see another perspective? Are you sold on your convictions that I'm now a tragedy pimp and that's sad? Like, that's where I came from. Like,
yeah.
Are we down for a discussion or are you closed off from it?
I can't speak for her, but from what I know of TPE, she would be down for a discussion.
Down for a discussion is what I would think too.
Yep.
Yeah, because people were saying she shut down the discussion last night.
Oh.
Well, it was TPE doesn't do open panels. I would encourage her to do at least one and have people like you, Granny, and a few others up there. Nonsense would be another good one. I can think of some other, not Prayer Garden, not Ziggy, but some people that actually know how to have a discussion and have that conversation.
But even that is part of it. And it really should be part of it, where even the people that you feel are doing the most wrong should be part of that discussion.
Prayer Garden's going to cuss them out and then send them to church, though.
Probably, but that would be hilarious. But I think there is room for, I mean, it would be, I don't think it would be possible to do it on one channel, but even if every channel engaged in the same discussion on their own level, that would be a start.
I think that's what everybody kind of divided off and did, to be honest. And I think some were way more upset than others, and some were more open to, you know, hearing the perspective and hearing further about it. And some just immediately closed down. For me personally, like I said, I thought the criticism was fair. I understood where she was coming from. I do think it would have been more fair to acknowledge that I acknowledged that myself. I kind of felt like it was a day late. You know, like if you felt that way from 3 months ago, maybe you should have called it out on me 3 months ago, to be fair. But it doesn't change the fact that's how she felt. And I think having my screenshot up there when she went on a tangent about QB's hashtags, I was kind of like, well, why is my screenshot still? But that was me being petty, right? That's me being like, well, wait, I'm defensive. You're calling me out. You know what I mean? Like, take my screenshot down, girl. This party ain't about me. That's my own defensiveness, because I knew I was wrong. I'm honestly, I'm shocked it took her this long to call me out. I knew I was in the wrong with what I was doing. And I think others know they're in the wrong too, but they're not willing to move on from that easy content yet. So they're going to ride it out and fight it out.
Nanya has a question for the panel. If hashtags are okay, regardless of the content, more algorithm based, should a TP ever be called out for their hashtags?
Yeah. I don't call them out for hashtags, so I don't really have a good answer for that, because I think do they even really help the algorithm?
I don't know.
Yes,
I use them,
they
but
do.
I don't view them.
They do. There are two different levels to this. There's the hashtags and then the hidden hashtags. The hidden hashtags.
What are hidden? I've been accused of having these hidden hashtags. I'm like, well, where do I find them? Can I unhide them?
Even that is hilarious, because the fact that somebody would accuse you of it like it's some cardinal sin is ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't even know where they're at, to be honest. I'm like, what are you talking? They're like, and I see your hidden hashtags. I'm like,
hidden hashtags aren't those the ones that you do permanently in the studio? Not just
my studio doesn't have any. My studio doesn't have them. That's why I was like, wait, I never even used hashtags. Now, the only time I've called out hashtags is Betty the other day, because she put Sebastian in the title. So I word searched Sebastian, and here in her whole video, she mentioned him one time to say that she would speak about his case tomorrow. But the rest of it came up in the hashtag. She had 9 times she hashtagged Sebastian Rogers. That's the most that she spoke about him, was in the hashtags. Other than that, I've never called out hashtags.
Yeah, I don't really focus on hashtags. Now, there's probably been a hashtag or two of Dolly or Betty's that I've been like, excuse me, what the fuck? But it's just not a focus of mine. But I know that TPE and Unsupervised Maniacs and Chronicles of the Shady, they do focus on calling out the hashtags. So I can see why it would be something that bothers them. You know what I'm saying?
We all have a different importance level of things, I guess.
Different lines.
And there will always be those people. No matter what sector you're in or what topic you're on, there will always be an opposition.
Well, and I think the argument then becomes, all right, so let's say nonsense no longer puts hashtags, right? Let's say I don't use them and Queen doesn't use them. Well, those that are actually harmful and what their intentions are harmful to the case, their hashtags are coming up anyway, right? So do we combat them with the hashtags, or do we say, okay, well, we're not going to use, then nobody finds, do you know what I mean? Like, then we can't match and correct or, point out things that we feel are I don't know. Am I making sense with what I'm saying?
No, I see what you're saying, because they're going to do it regardless. They're not even going to think about this like the rest of some of you have. They're going to do it regardless.
So then it opens up more room for them to be highlighted and people not to come across where like, hey, they said this, but this isn't true because here, so I don't, it's a tough one.
Yeah. Let's see. Tragedy Pimps Exposed says it's not just YouTube though. It's people on Google searching for facts. Go try it yourselves. It's if you search missing child's name, our videos come up from this community. Yeah,
Yeah.
Really?
yeah.
I had a
And
screenshot sent to me. A lot of Britney's came up.
it
I didn't
also
come up.
ties in to Twitter or X as well.
Yeah.
It ties into the SEO of that. So again, it's a very layered discussion. I think people are focused very literally on what the hashtags say rather than what they do and what your intention is to do with them.
Right.
There are some people who are very business minded and who are very good at that stuff, and it helps their channel grow because of it. So is the complaint from certain people that they haven't done it because they weren't aware it was useful or don't understand how to do it? Or is it because another person uses hashtags and they just don't like that person? It wouldn't matter what the heck they're saying, really.
Right. That's how I felt. I do feel like there are some people I'll never win with, and that's fine.
Oh, you
Mhm.
know that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, there are people who just don't like us for us, so it doesn't matter what we do, they're going to find faults in it.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. You get over it too.
Shady gets mad at me weekly, so it's okay.
Oh, she loves me.
She gets so angry with me.
Who
It's
does?
okay. Shady. Chronicles
Oh,
of the Shady.
Shady. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shady's
She
very
gets
passionate.
frustrated.
Some people are very passionate about it. And I do think, like Frosty said, it's a very layered discussion. It's not just a one and done type of discussion.
Nanny says
Right.
that
Well,
she doesn't care about hashtags. She cares about when the content becomes aggressive and abusive, in her opinion. That's where it stops for her. And I think that's what this really comes down to, is that we all have a
Yeah.
different threshold for this. We all have different boundaries. You know, and we're all going to see it differently.
yeah.
I say do this. If that content creator, YouTuber, whatever you want to call them, is too much for you, don't watch. Honestly. And I know that's easier said than done. But sometimes it just it will get to that point. It has for me, like, okay, I won't watch Bullhorn Betty. When I first came to this sector, I had no clue about JLR, Bullhorn, or MGL. I had no clue about their reputation. Now I quickly found out. And upon finding out, I still did my own, just sitting back and observing. And I quickly found out, okay, can't everybody be wrong here? I'm seeing
Right.
it. So some people, you'll just figure that out on your own. You won't watch them. You'll distance yourself from those particular channels.
Well, and some people say they don't watch, and then they obviously do.
Yeah, you get
'Cause
those.
I do think it is hard for a lot of people not to watch.
Yeah.
Cracks me up.
Yeah, because and that is a thing. You're right, because they'll complain about it, but then they'll go watch it. I've been guilty of it.
We probably all have.
Yeah.
And at
At
that
one
point, you're
point or
helping the
another.
algorithm more than a hashtag ever would. So I appreciate those who watch me to catch me in a slip up or to clip me, or, because you're one of my steady viewers and you're helping my algorithm more than the hashtag you complain about ever will. We gotta appreciate our faithful hate viewers. They do a lot for our
The only way
channel.
to change that is for people to stop watching the fuck shit, but they're not.
Right.
doing it.
No, they're not
Well,
going to.
That's
then
what
you
I
can-
don't get. What TPE just said. I'm totally okay if people don't agree, but adding others into it who had no idea and twisting words, that's not cool. That's like when Johnson told me and many of that, I'm like, how the hell did we get brought into this? And then you guys start talking about a collective and a conspiracy, and I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Well,
No,
wait, I have to
didn't.
defend this a little bit, because when the jerks were mentioned, it was because people were saying, well, where did TPE come from? And I believe Queen said TPE is one of the ones who exit from Ziggy's channel along with the jerks, and she mentioned somebody else who I forget. At that point, six up. At that point, I don't think there was any jerks in the chat. So I don't think it was like personal. I think it was genuinely answering the question. It then became a more personal thing once Pearl came up and it got hot and, you know, argumentative. But at first I feel like it was really just to like explain like what sector she's from. Cause a lot of people were saying, and I hear this a lot too, like, oh, I'm my own community. Yeah, that's great, but not true, right? When you hold renters here and you go on panel here and you share a bunch of subs, rather, I want to claim some people are not. I'm in the same sector as them, is what I call it. We all have our own communities, but we're the same sector.
Call it a sector, right? Yep.
So that's where the argument came in too. Is like, well, wait, who put us in this community with this TPE, and who the hell even is TPE? A lot of people were confused. So I felt like that was genuinely just to describe where she sits, like where that perspective was from. I'm one of the people that stand by. I feel like there has been a divide. I feel like there has been likely some private conversations going on. There's been some opinions made and changed based on other people. Can
you explain more about what you mean about that, Granny? Because you bring that up, but it's obvious that it's troubling you, or you have a certain perspective.
Yeah,
do you want to share what it is that
it bothers
saying?
the shit out of me. So I'll be completely honest. When Chronicles decided she was going to start joining those who do worse than me to call out my bad behaviors from 3 years ago, I couldn't help but notice there were people who a day prior were in my chat and then were suddenly under her comments agreeing with her, and then they come over to my comment, make it passive aggressive, and then there became this, you know, there's this clip channel that's been defending me. They're not associated with me. I don't promote them. I don't comment. I'm not sharing them out. I'm not like, hey, finally somebody defended me. I appreciate them. But they go and they tag to combat, like, wait a minute, you're calling Granny out for comparing them to Jennifer Soto, but you're neglecting the fact that they call her Casey Anthony every damn day, and that's okay with you? It's situational. It's personal. You don't like me, that's fine, but don't act like you're doing it because wrong is wrong, because you're not, right? So then there's a response from another creator that says, you want me to start making videos on Granny? Like, now I'm being threatened because somebody's defending me against. So that's what I'm talking about, this divide that's going on. Deez, I know some of your mods don't like me, and quite frankly, I don't fucking like them. And if I want to dig out their skeletons from 3 years ago, I think a lot of jaws would drop too. You know what I mean? So I do feel like there's been little.
But I don't talk to my mods personally. Well, besides, you know.
Well, I know you talk to this one.
The creator friends I'm friends with, but I don't know of any mods. I don't know of any mods that don't like
you guys. Opened the door. I could do this for 5 more minutes without taking a breath. Let me tell you.
She did. She said, "Just let me tell you now." Okay, and then
let's open it on up.
I mean, if there's mods that don't like you, then that's like an issue with that. I'm not.
No. It is. But if I may, please further explain that. So you took a jab one time on your stream about me kissing the ass of Queen Bee. Now, you didn't say my name. It was obvious what you were talking about. And then I kind of took a jab back, like, well, you'll have voices up on your panel a week after insulting your husband. You know what I mean? So, like, I felt like at that point, you and I started having this little.
Whoa. I have never taken a jab at you about being on panel with Queen Bee.
See, I think that's what happens when names aren't mentioned, because many people came to me and was like, rewind Deez back 5 minutes. So she just took a jab at you. And I'm like, well, fuck, why me? Like, I thought we were all cool, but you did stop coming around. You did start having.
What did I say?
Trying to have her back. I've never heard her say nothing.
I don't.
Well, yeah, she didn't say my name. So you were doing a stream about you were doing a stream about how bad people have gotten. And I mean, let's be honest. I know I was part of it because I knew I was doing wrong, right? So I knew I was part of it. Matter of fact, I texted somebody and said, yeah, I know this is about me. You know what I mean? You guys just aren't saying names, and that's cool. But then you said, you know, just like somebody over there kissing the ass of somebody who just went at them a month ago. And I'm like, damn, now you're definitely talking about me because I was just on Queen's panel. And I felt like,
I wasn't talking about you. You're taking on a lot of shit that's not about you. Like,
well, that's what happens. We don't use names, though, right? Like, if we don't have the courage to use names, then we lead it up to people's personal feelings. Because prior to that, I was one of the people.
It sounds like you're making a shit ton of assumptions without any fact. Like, you're just putting it out there as if something was directed towards you that's not. And I don't care if you say, you don't use names. Everybody talks about shit without using a name.
Well, I prefer to use names.
Well,
I prefer
Okay,
to
well,
use
then I
names
could
too.
probably go find a dozen instances where that didn't
See,
happen.
it's funny because this is why nobody
You've
has
been
this
doing
discussion
it right
right?
now, like.
Because you're
But
very defensive, but you ladies asked me to be more particular with what I'm saying, and I'm trying to
no,
say what I'm
baby,
saying,
nobody's
but look how
defensive.
defensive you're
No.
getting.
Well, I am a little defensive because you're flat out accusing me of something I didn't do.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. Are we going to say that stream wasn't particularly? I wasn't one of the people you guys were referring to.
What?
Hold
I
on.
don't even know
Who's
what
you
stream
guys?
you're
Was I on the
talking
panel?
about.
You were on the
Gracie.
panel, yeah. It was the stream where you
I
guys
was
were
on the
saying.
panel?
Oh, where was it? Me, Johnson, and Nunya. Where Nunya was just like done. It's
And
like one of
Jason
her
was
last
called out for
streams.
being on my panel. Yeah, that one.
Jason was
Jason.
called out for being on your panel.
Not by name again, but it was like, and one creator I'm friendly with, I even messaged her and said, hey, I can't believe you're participating in this type of thing. It was something like that.
But it wasn't even about you. That's the thing. Okay. All right.
Well,
go
that's
on.
why you felt that way.
Now
I'm
I
telling you
see
why.
now I see where this divide comes from.
I'm telling you why I felt that way, because a lot of the things that were stated could very much fit into myself, right? Like me being on Queen's panel, Jason being on
Why
my
do you
panel.
think that though? I have never had an issue with you, Granny. Never.
I know you
So
haven't,
why
but
would you put that? Wait, no. Let me talk. You do a lot of over talking. Let me speak. I have never had an issue with you. I came to you directly with a question I had for you. I've never shit talked you to anyone. You can ask around. So why would you assume that I was putting that on you?
Well, if I may, then who else was it, Dietz? Because I assumed, because like I said, it had nothing to do with you. It had to do with myself and knowing that I was doing wrong at the time. Right?
I'm honestly trying to think back to it and exactly what the topic was. I'm trying to remember.
The topic. The topic was people who've gone too far with Sebastian Rogers' case and calling out Seth Rogers. That was the topic.
Yeah, but I was even calling myself out on that one, wasn't I? Like, because I've been attacking.
I'm gonna have to go back and listen to it. I can't tell you who it was specifically now without going and listening to it, but I can tell you it wasn't about you.
Who was it?
No, I know what it was. It was Granny had a panel, Chasing was on the panel, and another person who was a creator. I still don't know who they were, but they were another creator. They're not like a well-known name around here. And that person basically blamed the parents of a missing child for, like, if you were a better parent, your kid wouldn't be missing, kind of a statement. And Dietz was like, the fact that, and nobody said anything to that person on this panel after they said that, like, whoa, hey, like, that's pretty foul. So of course people hear that and they're like, what the fuck? Like, why would somebody like blame? Like, you can't blame, even if you have those opinions or whatever, like, you don't blame somebody. Nobody is at fault for their kid going missing like that, And so of course there's this opinion of, it's not an opinion about Granny as a content creator, as a person. It's like, wow, why didn't anybody say anything? Why didn't anybody call it out for, like, whoa, hey, like, that's a little too far there, ma'am. And I think it was like, I don't think I've ever seen her on Granny's panel before this. So it was, and again, we know that happens in an open panel kind of setting. Like, everybody understands that. But for me, it feels like, Granny, that you're taking a lot of what's being said and what other people's opinion of what's being said and making it something that it's not. So, like, of course, it's kind of like, and I think there's a scientific kind of, experiment that people did, or scientists did, where, like, if they told you go look for red cars, everywhere you look, you'll see a red car. Or if somebody is already annoying you, think of a kid, a spouse, a friend, whatever, they're already, your mom, whatever, they're already annoying you, everything, they could breathe, and you are agitated by the fact that they have breathed right now because of, because you're already annoyed with them. So I feel like in this case, not that you were annoyed with anybody, but I think in this case is like when you start to see little things and you're doing that, instead of addressing it, like, you and I message for sure. And so you totally could have come and be like, hey, what's that about? Like, are you guys talking about me? And I would have squashed it right then and there. But if you don't squash it right then and there, no offense, as an adult, then it ends up building up. And the more people tell you, I think this is about you, I think this is about you, it's just building to these assumptions that in the end up making you look like an ass because you believed all these things along the way.
And if it's the one that I'm thinking of when Nunya was up there, that's like 4 months ago. So that's 4 months of
It's been a while.
Aggression that I didn't even know was there. So you've had an issue for like 4 months over something that wasn't.
No, I haven't had an issue for 4 months. I'm just glad, Nanya, that you acknowledged that stream was about me, because I knew it was. I feel like
No,
if anything,
here's the thing, though. I
issue
want to
started
correct
there
it.
that day that I was. I'm sorry.
Okay, so I want to correct it. Let me correct it. The stream itself was not about you. That commentary still was not about you. It was about what that person said and how we disagreed with what that person said on your panel. So it's not about you. It's not a reflection on you. It was about what that person on your panel had said. And we've all given opinions on what people on panels have said.
Right. I think it was the overall topic. And I felt at that point that you guys had an issue with me and stopped coming around. And I felt like maybe I took it like it was deeper. So I'm like, all right, I'll just go my own way type of thing. But I'm not out here holding grudges. I've still been in your chat here and there, Dees. I don't have anything personal against you. You have a right to call me out for my content. Like I said, I knew I was doing wrong. So I could relate and feel that the topic taking place was pertaining to me as well. I feel like it was several people were part of the discussion. I'm not like it was a call out Granny without saying Granny's name. No, several of us. I felt like fit in that category. I fit myself in there. But there were little jabs that I felt were jabs that were coming from the chat. And then, like I said, I did feel, Dees, that one particular comment about being on the panel, I did feel like that was about me. And if it wasn't, I'm sorry I felt that way. But it felt very...
No, it absolutely wasn't. I'll go back and re-listen to it to refresh my memory. Sorry, I don't remember it vividly.
I don't remember any
but
of this.
if I had an issue like that personally with you, I would talk to you about it. I've talked to you off platform. I would have no problem going to you and saying something directly to you, but I don't. So I didn't. Like, that's why I'm really confused. And I do feel defensive because you got really aggressive there. So of course I'm going to be defensive.
I threw my all right, so that was me just letting it all out. So I threw that was a whole separate situation. But I do feel like and we can't deny it, there is a heavy presence looking to take me down, right? And I'm not saying like Brittany J take me down. They're pulling out my behaviors, right? Quite frankly, are things I did, but they're relentless. And some of it has seeped into this sector. And I do get worried that there are people that are now going to hold these things against me because somebody you look up to or you value feels that way about me, right?
Now, that makes sense that you... I think I know what you're alluding to, and
I get it.
Make you feel defensive, and maybe not. I'm not calling you paranoid. That's not what I'm saying.
Oh, I'm a little paranoid for sure.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of people coming at me on a daily basis. Yeah, it'll fuck up your perspective on a lot of things for sure.
Yes. When we get in our head, I can get in my own head. I've done it.
Yeah.
I think the other thing though is I would really like to just truly encourage and like challenge you to understand that like a lot of us are not sheep. There are a lot of people here who are sheep, and I'm not naming any names because I don't know who the sheep are. But I think most of these strong people on this panel are not sheep. They all think for themselves. And I do agree with you. We do tend to find like-minded people who agree on certain subjects or who we can talk to. But for me personally, even the people who I do agree with on most subjects, I still constantly disagree with too. So just try and keep in mind that, like, even though I could hear a million things about a person and still believe the best in them.
Yeah, and let me clarify, not that Amber, my aggression is not from 4 months ago. My aggression is from a very out of context, targeted video that was advertised as being very good. That's where my aggression comes from, right? Because I think I can take a part of anybody up here stream, and I can take some of your private conversations out of context, and I can present you, or with the right music and the right touch and the right spin on things, I can get in everybody's emotions, because that's how it works. And with the right title and the right hashtags, I can make you look like a demon too, right? So that's where my aggression comes from. That this person is taking shit out of context without any, and then participating in worse things, right?
Can we just clarify though? Can we clarify, because I'm a little bit lost right now?
Yeah, who are you talking
about? Is this person
Chronicles
in the room with us right now?
I don't know. I'm not looking at the chat any further, and I have them blocked.
By in the room, I do mean on the panel.
Oh no, no.
Chronicles.
It's Chronicles.
All right.
The
Yeah.
last time Chronicles got upset with me was over that whole when you said that she was in a chat
Well, she
with
was
people
though.
talking about your daughter. Right.
She was.
But because I wasn't playing her video, she got upset with me and took off. But I was trying to see both sides of it. And like, I don't know.
But I think the other thing
But what
though
does that have
is
to do with me though?
I could be cool with Chronicles all day long, and your beef and her beef it's just that, it's y'all's beef. Like, it
Right.
doesn't have anything to do with me. She could do whatever videos she wants on you, and I'm gonna have an opinion on them one way or the other, whether I agree or disagree. And you and I have had a conversation of times where, like, okay, I agree with her there, like I disagree with you there, whatever.
Mhm.
But like for me, just because she does a video, I may think that video is a good video. I may strongly agree with that video, but she may do another video that I disagree with.
Right.
Like, her doing those videos, that's her content. And as much as you have the right to do your content, she has the right to do her content. If her
Of course.
content happens to be calling you out or showing things from a different perspective, she has every right to do that. But that
Of
doesn't
course
have
she
anything
does.
to do with us.
No, I know, but I'm saying, because I mean, to be honest, you all stopped coming around too, right? So it's
Not
like,
me.
But for the record, I stopped
that
going
Johnson?
around everywhere.
Same.
Like,
I'm not
I
in a
haven't
Well,
lot
good.
of
Well,
been around
Nunya,
like that.
if I could be quite fair, I wasn't even thinking of you, to be honest, Nunya, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I just
No,
felt like,
I'm good with it. Okay, as long as I'm
you know,
exempt, I'm just
yeah,
trying to
I wasn't
clarify.
really throwing you in there. I'm sorry.
I've been in your chat. I just,
Have you, Deets?
honestly,
I mean,
yes.
I was a little upset, man. I was a little hurt. I was like, dude, I really like Deets, and you know, I felt like I hadn't seen her around, and yeah, I got paranoid.
Have you seen me anywhere? Like, I'm
Well,
very,
I was about
very
to say,
sporadic.
Deets ain't even been in my chat. a little
yeah, I
bit.
don't even go to chats either.
You
to be
got
honest.
900 people in there too.
I've missed a lot of Jones's streams. If I do get online, it's in the afternoon, evenings, and you're on in the mornings. And I'm just not. I'm not around a ton of places anymore right now.
Well, and before
really
I just come
busy
across
with
like,
life.
before I just come across like a paranoid freak, can I just also add that it did appear I was also blocked in Jones's chat the other night. So to me, that was like the final nail in the coffin, if you will. And I was like, all my paranoias became full blown. Like, oh my God, yeah, this is how they feel about me now. And I did. I got upset about it because I respect
swear
each
to
of you.
God.
Do you
I
have a
swear
rogue
to God, Granny.
Because
You were
had
not
this
blocked.
the other day, Joneson. Do you have a rogue mod?
I don't know. Maybe I
It
need to
ain't
check.
me.
Maybe I need to check.
I could have
But when
sworn this
Granny,
was something last week or the other day.
well, when Granny came in, she came in under her backup account and she was like, "Yo, bitch, I'm
Yeah, we
blocked."
saw
And I was
that.
like, "What?" So I checked right then on the stream, and all that's in my block list was rapper accounts.
And then you started commenting under your regular account.
Yeah, right
Yeah,
after
she came.
Jones went
Yeah,
into her studio, my regular account was able to be seen again. And then I said, well, maybe Rapper appeared as me because he likes to do that. Maybe that was accidentally blocked and it was really me. You know what I mean? Like maybe you thought I was Rapper at one point. I don't know.
because I cleared it. Yeah, I cleared it, and
But
it's
at
like,
that point, that's where I felt like, okay, so maybe my feelings were real. And
I
yeah, I
get
could have been
that.
an adult and came in and in messages and said something. But then I was also kind of like, well, what am I going to do? Argue why you should like me? I know I've been fucking up lately. I know I'm not on par with,
No,
you know, the
I do
standards you
like
guys
you.
hold.
I think you're putting a lot of that on yourself that's not necessarily
Well, Granny,
directed
to
It's
be
towards
not
you.
even
fair,
our
Like, I
opinions
don't.
of you.
I haven't seen a lot of fuck ups lately, like you said.
I
I
wanna,
don't even know
I
what you're
want,
talking about.
Well, I mean,
I
with the
wanna
whole
say,
Sebastian, I got a little deep with the whole Seth Rogers call out, you know, that whole thing.
Granny, I made sure to make my presence known in your chat because I knew that once you and Queen Bee became okay and civil with each other, like I needed to make myself known in your chat so that you knew that that didn't affect me,
Yeah, I was
that
worried.
that wasn't going to change my support for you.
Yeah, and Josie, you're very much appreciated. You stick to who you like, regardless of who likes who, and I do appreciate that. And I think we'd all do better if we did that. And I'm not saying anybody didn't do that. Please don't take that.
I really don't. I have mods that go over there and hang out. Like, I really don't care. It
I
does
wish
not
everybody
affect
could.
me at all.
I wish everybody could talk and just get it all out and kind of come back together because mean, think about how much happier this place was when everybody.
That's
I
not
know.
gonna happen.
It
But
sucks.
I think it's great
No.
that you have reconciled. That's not gonna happen.
We think
No.
it's wonderful for you.
I think it could.
We love that for you.
And
Love
don't
that
that-
for you, yes.
I also want to say, Granny, I thought you had a problem with me because you started, connecting with Queen, and you wasn't coming in my chats anymore. You wasn't even coming in to say, hey, what's up? Turns out
I was blocked,
apparently
bitch.
you were blocked, and
I'm
I didn't
over there
know.
chatting away, thinking nobody's even acknowledging my ass because nobody likes me no more.
Bitch, no, I thought
I mean, that's really
thought
what was
you wrote
happening.
out on me.
No. And then when you guys were being excessively tagged and the emails were going on, I'm dealing with a whole legal end over here, and I didn't want more target put on all of you either. So I was like, well, if I'm not in their chats or I'm not on their panels, they can't have these obsessive freaks coming to them you guys didn't deserve it. Chasen got the most tags she ever got in her YouTube career in like 3 days.
Yeah,
it
I
wasn't
don't give
fair.
a shit about that. I told
I
them
don't
I want to
look
be.
at my
I don't
chats.
either.
Don't send me no more emails. I've had emails sent to me. I don't give a fuck about them emails. Don't send me no more emails. That ain't what I'm about.
Yeah, they're obsessively weird. But then
That's
my whole
why I don't
sentiment.
have my email in my about section on my channel.
Don't even
Don't
email
judge
me.
us. Don't judge us. The email
So-
havers.
Have we got to the point that we have resolved that? Because that seems what I'm hearing, that there's been a slight resolution. Is that?
Yeah,
I mean,
think
I
so.
feel better. I feel better.
I should
didn't
have
know
opened
there was a
communication sooner.
problem, so
Well,
I'm gonna say it's resolved.
Look, Deets is
but
both glad to have the
please.
problem and the resolution all at the same time.
just come to
Yeah,
it.
probably
to be
better if we
fair,
speak for ourselves.
I wasn't sure if there was a problem either. Like I said, it was just, a few things here, a few things there that I was like, is there? Is there not? And then, of course, you have people that come to you and they're like, oh, did you see what that bitch said? And I'm like, well, why? Why? You know what I mean? Like, so I should have just come to you.
Sometimes subscribers will fuel it on something that doesn't even exist the most.
Absolutely.
And
Well, Granny, one of the times I thought I felt like there was a shift when you thought I was in what's her name? Darling
Don't even
Nikki.
say her name. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was literally only in there to ask her, like, how old is this? Because it's like you're going over shit that's 2-3 years old. But I didn't even respond when she told me, oh, well, it was a couple of years ago. I had already left. But that's legit what I went in there for, was to be like, so
What's
why?
your type of thing? And then, of course,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, did you see Jones in that chat? And I'm like, Jones was? And that's why that I did come to you, but I'll admit I was very bad at looking to see if you had responded. So I could see why you would feel that way.
I wasn't in there trying to hate bond or get tea on you. I was in there trying to be like, and you're carrying this out, because the clue thing was the clue thing, and that's what needed to be focused on, not your shits and your accidents from 2 or 3 years ago.
Right, that I immediately apologized for. But what I loved about all of that, though, is that if people were to truly watch them, not just when they tag me or when they're looking for a juicy clip to make into their next clip video, they'll see that these people are actively doxing me. They're doxing my father. They're CPS whistling. They're calling me a pedo sympathizer with my address on the screens. They're going over medical papers that they can't even read, let alone comprehend, right? They're pulling up my record that I'm the first one to tell you, so I'm a felon. I did some fucked up dumb shit. I'm in recovery. I'm proud of myself. I'm coming up, you know what I mean? Like, whatever. Yeah. But I feel like instead of focus on what they're doing actively right now and not how I responded to it. I know a lot of people are calling to you all to call me out for the whole Jennifer Soto comparison. I was wrong. Yeah. I was wrong. But I have also been called Casey Anthony and said I'm a danger to my children and I'm a pedo sympathizer.
I don't think anybody mentioned that one to me.
I don't think, you know what, Granny? I seen both sides. I seen what they were trying to say, but I also understood what you were trying to point out.
Right. I just didn't convey it correctly, Jones, but I stand by my sentiments. You're watering down actual abuse. It's not cool.
I agree. And I agreed with that. Yeah, absolutely.
I just didn't.
I didn't take it as serious as other people did, but.
No, they want to take it that way. It's like Nunya said. They begin to breathe, and you're like, listen to how heavy they breathe, or the whole, look at that bitch eating her chips. It becomes one of those situations. But in all actuality, I had a very good and fair argument. It just shouldn't have been done with the title it was done on and the aggression it was done with. I may have been able to reach people better.
The
So I
other thing I
privated
was
it.
gonna say, I'm gonna hop down, but the last thing I was gonna say was, Granny, like we understand that like there's a history that you have, not you have, but like that people try to throw out there. And if you haven't recognized, I think I would say most of us have heard it over the past year or two since we've come.
Yeah.
But like I don't want to, I try very hard not to judge people on the mistakes that they've made in the past. I try to judge them by
Same.
the
Yeah.
actions that they show me today. So while I think that, knowing that information is important, because what if the person repeats that same mistake? I get
Right.
that. But also on the flip side of things, like I give people a chance. So I think that like you take that past history that's constantly being brought up and thrown at you, and you're being attacked with it, and you try to block everybody from hearing about it.
Yeah.
But I hope that that some of us out here can see it and say, okay, well, that's not the person that I know right now, and we
Thank
judge
you.
accordingly from there, in the way of, what do your actions show today? What type of responsibility do you take
Yes.
for your actions today?
Yes.
That's what we're
Right.
looking for. So
Well,
that's just my 2 cents.
And
and
speaking
if
for
I
myself,
may,
I'm here for the granny today. Like,
thank
Thank you for
you.
having me.
this is the granny,
I also
I
feel like
want to base
it's.
it on today.
Thank you, Jones, and Anya, I do appreciate that. But I also feel like I get this like big scarlet letter that I don't even rightfully wear. Like I don't think anything. Like I haven't. I'm not out here publicly doxing people. I'm not calling CPS. I'm not going real life. Like what is really the harm I did? I slipped up and called somebody a slur I should have never said and immediately apologized for. I got angry and said, if it's okay to talk about my kids, it's okay to talk about yours. Like, what is this big evil deed I have to continuously apologize for? It's kind of what I'm getting to. Like, I feel like people act like I've done like these really reckless, horrible things. But some of the people that are addressing it or calling me out for it have done equally as bad things. Like, the worst thing I've done is, I look shamed. I've gotten very aggressive and angry. I felt like YouTube was more serious than it was. But in all actuality, I was the one having my privacy invaded. I wasn't invading other people's privacy. So it kind of gets tiresome too of like, oh, well, Granny's changed. She's doing better. And did it. I was never some horrible freaking person. I wasn't out here putting people's family members up on the screen. I'm not digging. You know what I mean? So it's like I don't know.
I get it.
I feel like
I
many
really
worse
do.
people's have been. And I feel like, so sometimes I'm trying to argue that, and it's a losing argument. Like you said, those who know, or those who see it, or those who don't want to. I just get tired of, like I said, the nonsense. I felt like nonsense would do it a lot to me. Like, oh, I'm not even associated with her. Or what do I? And I'm like, well, like you act like I'm the devil herself. You know what I mean? Like,
I
chill.
think that was just Nonsense's way of sort of cutting it out before people would be like, don't you know that Granny did blah, 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 blah,
Right.
blah. That was her way of handling it. And I understand that when it's something that particularly strikes a chord with you, you can take it a lot deeper than maybe the other person was meaning it. Because that's certainly what I've seen recently from my perspective, at least, that's the way it's come across, that she's just trying to say, yeah, I know about it, but here's what I've also seen.
Yeah, I
And I
appreciate
think that part gets missed, because then obviously that wee bit of, oh my God, here we go again, starts to race through your head of, oh, here, not for the 9 millionth time, and I have to explain what happened when. Can we just move on?
Yeah,
So
that's
I get it.
exactly. I felt like
And like
I went up
Remy
on.
said, I like what Remy said too. We can all agree on that self-aware. Yep.
The devil is Betty. Yeah, because I felt like there was a time where I was like jumping on panel, like defending myself against things from like 1996, and I'm like, wait a minute, like why? And it's deflections, it's whataboutisms, and it's a campaign. And I was worried that you ladies fell into their agenda. I guess I was.
But why not just ask us though? Like, we're approachable. Like, I seriously, you've had conversations with me in private.
I
I feel
know.
like that was a whole lot of I don't want to say paranoid, but like taking a lot of situations and putting it, like owning it for yourself, and that causes more undue stress that you didn't need. I don't even know what the nonsense situation you and we are talking about. So I do feel like as I'm not going to use creators for soup. as channel holders, we do tend to do that. Like, oh, this person's talking about me, that person's talking about me, like, you know, because I'm dealing with this. Like, I'm dealing with people you probably things you don't even know about. You're dealing with things I don't know about. But we
Right.
think everybody knows all the things, and they don't. You know, so that becomes another issue too. Is you're like, oh, how's this bitch not see that I'm stressed about this because I'm dealing with X, Y, and Z? But I don't know what your X, Y, and Z is the same way you don't know what my X, Y, and Z is.
Right.
So it's taking a lot of ownership of things that aren't being thrown at you and adding them to the mess that actually is being thrown at you. And that's not fair to yourself to do.
Yeah. Now you're right. You're right. That's why I said it's very fair to call it paranoid. It is a paranoia. There's, you know, I haven't come, there's chats I won't even go in anymore because I don't even know if I'll be welcomed. Like you do when you feel like there is this like abundantly clear red, like I said, scarlet letter on you, you do start to worry like, well, shit, am I even welcomed here anymore? Or, you know, sometimes people in the chat make these comments that do get left up, or it's just a whole mess of things. Like I have personal issues with people that you probably aren't even, like you said, you aren't even aware of, and I'm unaware of who your personal issues were. So I should have just came to you. I'm sorry that I didn't. I was just like, damn,
I just hate that you're holding that in for that long. But no, I don't have any issues with you.
I'm glad we got that out.
The Sebastian stuff, yeah, that stream that I do remember Nanya and I just kind of blowing up. But it was the whole entire community. The entire community. So or sector rather. But and maybe that's why I wasn't in a lot. Honestly, though, you are in the morning, and I'm not there as much in the morning. But I haven't been engaging in a lot of the Sebastian conversations because it has gotten out of control, and
it has
that personal line. I don't even know where mine is on the topic anymore because it's just become such a huge turnoff the way that the content is flung out there, and it's heartbreaking. Like I listened to the Chad Doberman press conference today, and you know I only saw one person in our little sector covering it, and I saw a lot of other people, you know, covering lots of other things, and that's not, and I'm not leaving out names. I'm just saying in general, people were covering lots of other things, but listening to that, I was like, I don't know, it just puts life into perspective. It puts a lot of things into perspective. And I just don't know, with there being no updates or anything, and the Sebastian content is just
I've quit. I've quit going into and participating in chats that are discussing Sebastian until they actually have, you know, actual news, not drama, but actual news or updates. I just don't want to participate in it. I saw what happened to Summer Wells' case, and I'm not going to be a part of that happening to somebody else. And I see it happening, and I have left chats of creators I like. I'm just, you know, I'll be back on a day they're talking about something else, but I'm not participating in that.
Yeah,
that's just for me.
Just for me. It ain't got nothing to do with the creator, channel holder, or anything like that.
No, it's just the content.
Yeah. Plus, it's nothing new. I mean, God, it's nothing new.
No, I agree. I think
like I said, I haven't even made it to all of Jones's lives recently. I've just, you know, haven't been around as much.
I think when it comes to Chad Dorman, I was following that as well. Personally, it's too sad to cover. But I think what the mother of the boy said was very important. I made a post about that, about, you know, remembering the boys for who they were, not for how they left this earth. And I think that's important. It breaks my heart that a mother has to say that, right? Because these kids often get the perps often get remembered, and the victims rarely get mentioned, and that's sad.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh yeah, today it came out that it was 12 days after he murdered his sons that he was bragging to his brother on the phone that he was just as infamous as Adolf Hitler. And I was like, oh, This man is just.
See, that's sick.
There's just pure evil in the world. There is truly just pure evil out there. I don't know how else to
Everywhere.
categorize it, but evil, you know?
That's about how a demon, evil. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right, there is a lot of it, and that's where it sort of brings us full circle to how we started this live of I am not throwing any shade on TPE, but when I consider hashtags, I think they are much lower down the pecking order of priorities of what I see as problematic in the sectors that we all partake in. There are a whole lot bigger issues, and I mean, we can't even agree on the most basic of things. So where do we go from here? Where do we go? How do we, as reasonable people, are trying to hang on to some shred of reasonability, where do we go from here?
That was my question, because I don't think any of us that were named in that video have actual bad intentions to be highlighted as such. I think that's where a lot of people were offended. Like, yeah, my hashtags are the consecutive of my streams, but my intentions were good. And you put me next to these people who, quite frankly, are horrible pieces of crap, right? So that was where a lot of people became insulted, like throwing us in between like Dolly and, the worst
I can see how that would be offensive. But I also see that she was trying to, But back to Wee's question, I mean, what do we do?
Where do we go? Yeah.
Where do we go? I think we'll all be all right. Look, I've been on here 5 years, and I have seen this in every sector. There will be a revolving door of subscribers. There will be arguments, fights, blow-ups. Sides will be taken. Discord conversations will be had. And I just think it'll keep going. I don't know. With YouTube especially, I don't know if people can just really get a grip and move on. I would like to think we could, but I'm just being realistic. Can we?
Well, maybe if you could list those points, TPA, that would help, because certainly the only main topics that came across to me were mainly the new terminology of low-level tragedy pimps, what was in titles and the hashtags. If there were other issues, maybe a list would be a good place to start. I don't know. That's what I'm literally saying. I don't know.
Yeah, because I feel like that was the main takeaway for many people, was unfortunately the discussion of hashtags.
Yeah, and I agree, TPE. I think you're trying to, and you have sparked a conversation. Good intentions and get carried away. Well, Bex, yes, this country definitely is in turmoil, and that's one way to look at it from another perspective.
And this isn't just America-based. Like, you forget about the rest of the world. There's
you guys are in some major turmoil over there right now.
Yep. That's partly why Pearl has no internet at the moment.
We live in a very broken world, and sometimes, and when I say we, I mean all of us, people in general, we forget to look outside of our bubble and forget that it's much bigger than us.
That is true. Sometimes I get myself worked up over this stuff. I'm like, I am going to drag this bitch. You understand me? And then something happens, and I'm like, for what? I mean, I could, and I still might. You never know what tomorrow brings. But in all reality, it ain't that deep.
No, it's not.
Usually we find taking a deep breath and waiting a minute seems to cure a lot. You know?
I think a lot of people feel like they weren't wrong in what they were doing to be called out as wrong. I think that's what it is that They don't
Some
want to
people
see.
don't, Granny, and I think it's
Yeah.
rare that someone even says, "You're right. What I was doing was wrong." That right there, you may have threw people off with that, you know?
Probably. I mean, but I think I think if everybody was honest, they would be honest about it and just admit instead of like justifying or excusing or and some of the justifications are fair though. They're legitimate, and that's where the question comes in. Are hashtags really that bad? But then we see TPE saying it was much more than hashtags. So I'm curious on that as well. And then, like I said, people wanted discussion, but then they were saying last night that TPE shut down discussion. It was like, I don't want to hear your reasoning or something. I don't know.
I don't know. I looked actually because I mod for TP, and I was looking in her chat, and she was responding to a lot of people. I mean, she was getting some backlash, and she was there. It was like a thread of 15, comments. To me, it seemed like she was when I went back to look. I wasn't in the live stream when it was happening. TPE is usually very even keel and will let people have their opinion as long as they're respectful.
AK-47. Let me give you the attention you so desperately crave.
Yeah, I see it now.
No, she is not hiding. She owes you nothing. Good luck. Get out. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
What she said.
What the hell is Pearl hiding from? Y'all should be scared of her. She ain't scared of shit.
I'm gonna have to go listen to whatever went down. It sounded like there was a battle. There was a bloodbath today that I missed.
That's it, right. With that comment like that, so what are you even talking about? Are you okay? It's people like that I wonder about on here. We got a lot of weirdos. Y'all know that?
He's a strange one.
Oh, have you seen him before?
Oh my goodness, have I ever? I'm shocked to see him over here, to be honest. I think it's because they all shoot him away. Oh, he's a delight.
Oh, yeah, he sounds like he is.
Why would Pearl be hiding from him? What did he do?
Right. We've never heard of this person before.
Oh, no.
Girls, can somebody unhide Tiny Dancer? She was hidden by accident.
Oh my God, not Tiny.
Release the Tiny.
Not Tiny.
Not my Tiny.
She's so tiny, she should be able to slip out.
I just saw that and was like, oh my goodness, she's in jail. What are we going to do?
Not Tiny. Okay, I see what happened. Their comments were together. Okay.
It's all right, Tiny. Yeah. We got you. TJ rescued
Don't
you.
Don't cry, Tiny. You're safe now. You've been bailed out for $17.
Okay, can you type now? I see her. Okay. That's Tiny. All right, y'all. I have to jump down for the night because school started this week, so I got to make sure the little one is doing everything she's supposed to be doing. But y'all can go on having this discussion.
It's still summertime.
Yeah, it is, but they went back to school early, and I ain't mad.
I can't believe it already.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, they don't go back there till the last week of the month, so that's nice.
Yeah, we're the first week of September. Thank goodness.
You got another month with the kids. Oh, I was so excited this morning. So was she. I was like, I have 8 hours of silence.
See, mine are a little bit older, so they don't bother me, but I still have to get up to make sure he's getting up, so I hate it. But I mean, I'm ass crack of dawn in it up anyway, so it's going to make a difference.
It's the same. Right, exactly. All right, y'all. I'll catch y'all later.
Well, have a good one, Sue.
All right, Sue.
Well, thank you for allowing me up and expressing a little bit. And TP, I'd be very open to a discussion with you. I think, like I said, your criticism was very fair. And I think if people approached it less defensive, which, okay, I'm guilty of doing it myself, and just open that dialogue, it could resolve a lot of things. But I do think if everybody was honest with themselves, we can admit that, the hashtags are overboard, consistent hashtags are overboard. The topic's not really that topic. Let's be honest with ourselves. It's a fine line.
Thanks for coming up with us, Granny. I appreciate it. And I appreciate how open you were to talking all of this out.
Yeah, I'm grateful for the opportunity to. And Dees, again, I'm sorry that.
Well, thanks for letting me know there was an issue so we could fix it.
Yeah.
just seriously,
That was
you've
a
got
big
my number.
positive that
You
came out
got
of
my
this
number.
live.
You can reach out to me anytime.
Right, that was excellent that it got worked out. I know that that was scary to do on live panel. I know that you both had to do worse, like, but still, getting that out of the way and cleared up was a very productive thing.
Yeah, I should have just done it sooner. And like I don't know why I was all like, oh, should I message her? Should I not? Well, she really feels that way. It was like one of those internal battles. Like, why didn't she come to me? I was like I was being petty.
I would have came to you if I knew I needed to. I didn't know there was an issue that needed.
Why didn't you come to me with your non-issue deeds? What the
Right.
fuck?
Sorry, I'll remember that next time.
Remember that next time, damn it.
I will.
No, but yeah, I do appreciate the conversation and thanks for hearing me out. Oh, I'm gonna work on my paranoia now and hope everybody has a better night.
No.
Thank you, Granny.
We all get paranoid. We all get paranoid.
Right.
I'll be back in the chat.
Wendy Blake, I want to thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. I'm sorry I didn't see that sooner. But if you got a membership from Wendy, please say thank you.
I going back to the original question, like where do we go from here? And again, I need to watch the video. I should probably do that before I share my input, but maybe it's just more self-awareness of like Shady mentioned earlier, would I want my child to be tagged in this stream? That's a simple thing that we could start with. I mean, obviously some of us are going to have different responses than others. And then, I don't know though, because I do agree, like if we are correcting misinformation or disinformation, then yeah, you do want it to reach, the people that are going to be searching and hearing that mis and disinformation. So I understand that. Does it become excessive? Yeah, I think it does. So I don't know what the overall answer is. And maybe there's not an overall answer.
There may not be. It may be just a discussion, and people are going to have to. I mean, at the end of the day, people are going to do what they're going to do, right?
Yeah.
You can point it out to them, but they've got to decide like what's right for them. What does their moral compass say? Because everybody's isn't the same. Boy,
right.
we've seen that a lot.
Right, and then I'm trying to remember exactly who said it so I can put their name on it. I think I was listening to Nonsense today because that's one I did listen to, and I think she was streaming Brittany. So I think that's where it came from, was Brittany. Was just saying, how did she word it? Basically, you're becoming the tragedy pimps or whatnot, or you're just using it as an excuse to attack others or blah, blah, blah. I don't feel that way. I don't feel like 99% of these streams that are correcting stuff or, showing poor behaviors of quote unquote advocates are doing it with the intention to bog down the hashtag or harm anyone. But should we become a little more aware that it might, like, how confusing can that become? I was listening to a stream just the other night where it was someone new to the Summer Wells community, like a newer creator to it. And I might not like the person, y'all might not like the person, but they made a statement that kind of stuck with me is, they jumped in and they've been researching things and looking at videos and stuff, and they've just gotten so lost. And they got lost in it from both sides, like from people that we would call tragedy pimps and people that we would call like the anti-tragedy pimps, whatever you want to call them. It becomes such a muddied mess, like they don't even know what to believe.
That's exactly what I was saying at the beginning of this stream. When I first came to this part of YouTube, I came because I had heard Summer was missing. You search Summer Wells and it brought me to like Ziggy and Molly. But, this was way early on in the case. Now, I'm sure if you search Summer Wills, the stuff you're going to find, I couldn't imagine trying to figure anything out from there.
Right. And let's be honest, our live streams, some of us, and I'm talking about myself here, are so freaking long that people would get so lost in the sauce.
Right.
So I can see where it's muddying up the hashtag. You're not blocked in on my channel, Josh.
Josh is a troublemaker.
I don't think Josh is blocked on my channel. But so yeah, I get what TPE was trying to show us all, that there is something here. What the solution is to it, I don't know exactly, but there is.
Right.
There's a good point she made. Maybe I shouldn't say that without watching it fully, but maybe because I know people didn't like it, but
well,
I like the discussion we're having about it.
I do too, and I certainly think that TPE, like anybody else on this platform, is entitled to their opinion.
Yeah. Oh, that's another thing. Like, we're all sharing our opinions here. We all have different opinions as it pertains to every topic. How boring would it be if we all had the exact same opinion? It would be so boring. So boring.
Josh, thanks for being a member for 2 months.
I know. I'm with Joneson. Okay, Joneson, you come back up here because I know you had a lot to say with that. How did we get called? How did we, us and the jerks, get called out for not making it into the video?
Then it was just assumed that we weren't in the video, not because we weren't doing that, or not because she didn't have clips of us doing that, but only because we're her friends, we're in a collective or something. That's what it was sort of made out to be.
Oh, that was the
make
jest.
any kind of sense. Josh B, thank you for the gifted memberships. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Josh.
Was it Remy? I believe you, Remy, that it was nuts. Like, I don't get that. What about these people over here?
And that happens a lot when somebody gets called out for something, where they immediately, well, what about, you know, stuff that we've done in our life. Well, you why are you asking us? What about them? What about
make
them?
a video and call me out, you know,
right?
Like, how's that TPE's fault?
It's not.
Or how's it ours even?
So yeah, that was a strange thing of her getting called out for not putting people in there that.
Well, that's when it gets down to just personal beefs instead of you know, discussing the topic at hand. It just goes back to personal beefs. It's like, whoa. And then coming up with like, oh, you're connected to this or connected to that. Well, then you're just coming up with conspiracies to fuel your personal beef. That's what people
call deflective. Yeah. Just deflecting because it might have touched a nerve with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I agree. A whole live dedicated to us, Jones, and what? I'm accused of being in cahoots with TPE to make the video. What? I didn't know that.
Wait, did that actually happen?
I don't know.
Gosh, I hope not.
Eliza fell off.
Oh, goodness.
Johnson, I'm going to need you to get back up here and tell me that. You only told me about that screenshot, not a whole freaking live.
There she is. I knew she'd be back.
It just, StreamYard said error, just booted me.
They won't leave me alone for long. They know it's not safe.
Carrie, I am. I'm a big meanie doo-doo head. I'm like, geez, I haven't even been live in like 2 or 3 weeks. And it's been
and you still managed to get in trouble. See?
Jeez Louise. I'm not even in chats. And I get in trouble for that. It's crazy. I haven't seen Carrie in forever, though. I hope you're good. She's probably been busy all summer with the kiddos. If I was an AI robot, I could add all the people, even the ones that don't. Well, that's what I was wondering. Someone mentioned that in, yeah, Gemini. In the end, it doesn't matter. Like, I should just go live and be like, okay, guys, what did I do today or this week or the past 2 weeks? Let me know. I'll take it. But someone mentioned, maybe it was in a community post, that the AI chat, which I still don't have on my phone. I'm a little butthurt about that. But the AI chat was kind of replacing the hashtags. I don't know if we still up here, if that's true or not, or how that works.
Not replacing it in its entirety, but it'll be added into the algorithm. So instead of you having to solely add them yourself, AI will take some of that context from your content and add that automatically into your tagging system. So say if you happen to be a streamer who only talks about the Titanic, and for some reason you decide you're going to talk all sorts of smack about penguins today. Penguins are just the worst. You're going to tell everybody how evil the penguins are. I don't know why you would do that for a start. But if you were going to do that, then AI is already going to be telling people, well, this person mainly talks about the Titanic and focuses on engineering, etc., etc. It's to encourage the search engine and the marketing potential of how Google sells advertising space, etc., etc.
So they're putting us where they want us to go anyway, regardless of the hashtags, is what you're saying.
Yes, and I think that's where some of it, in my perception, is slightly redundant a little bit about the hashtags, because there are arguments for and against. You know, if you're countering misinformation, should you use a hashtag? Surely if you're rebutting a person's particular stream or content, that's exactly the time that you would use the tags that they have. But then do you morally agree with the tags that they have used? All that stuff. All of that is going to be mostly taken out of our hands, really. And the content will more or less stay the same. These people are still going to be who they are. So what are we, you know, what is it going to be in another couple of months? What's the problem going to be then? We have people running around this community making some of the most vile accusations baselessly. People who claim to be in true crime who are outright accusing people of being other people with zero proof. But that's not the problem for some.
Yeah, you know, I've been re-listening to that. I'm not, that's a mess. Messy. But
very messy.
Well, I'm gonna hop over here and have some dinner.
Thank you for coming up, Dates. I'm glad
Thank
that we
you for
got at
having
least
me
one
out.
thing resolved. That was a good
Thank
thing.
you. Yes.
Progress.
Oh, sorry, I was in the wrong section. StreamYard has changed on my phone. Everything's changing on me. I need to look into this. All right, thanks, guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye, Deets. Thanks for coming up. And then it was just me and we.
I've watched YouTube before. Is this the part now where we say all the mean stuff about all the other people that were up on the panel that you didn't say whenever they were here? Great, let's do that.
Yes.
I've heard that Dates doesn't like penguins.
I know. Can you believe it? I don't know why she was going to do that live about
8.5 hours on penguins. It was awful.
It's terrible. Tanga's back from pooping, so that's
Hi,
good.
friends. Yeah, I lost power, and so it took my Wi-Fi a minute to kick back on. Sorry.
Well, we were just talking about Dietz and why does she hate penguins so much? I mean, I get why people
Freudian
don't like.
slip.
You
I
know
get
what?
why
You're
people
about to
don't
start
like
problems
pigeons,
up here
but
tonight.
the penguins, you know.
And see, as soon as we mentioned the penguins, dates disappeared. I'm just saying. Just
She had to
saying,
poop.
y'all.
She had to poop. It really had nothing to do with the penguins.
Hey, Bugsy.
Don't you lie to me, dates.
Hey, Tanga.
Doesn't have to be earned.
My internet has been acting up too.
Just is.
Yeah, mine just did it wasn't even my internet, it was just StreamYard. But it was a great conversation. I
It was
really
a good
enjoyed it a
start.
lot.
There's a lot of conversations still to be had about this, but this was a really good start.
I
I'm kind
agree.
of happy with how it turned out.
I appreciate everybody that came up and helped this discussion along. Thank you so much, Deets,
Thank you for having me.
Granny, Nunyan, Jonesins.
We love you, ladies. We appreciate you coming up and talking about this.
Yes.
Well, it's usually the best way to find out at least what other people are thinking, or at least some shred of it. That's all you can hope for, really. Sometimes it works out better than others. Today, it worked out all right. I think that was a good thing.
Okay, well, I think we could probably go ahead and close out. Thank you guys so much. Is there anything that you want to say, Eliza?
No, I'm kind of spent.
Okay, we can go ahead and roll
It's
the
so
outro.
hot. Yeah.
Good night,
Thank you, everyone.
everybody.
Good
Thank you
night.
for being
Good night,
here,
Wee.
everyone.
Good night, Bugsy.
Good night.